happening, weirdos? This is Samba Schutte. Samba is incredible. He's a comedian. He's an actor. You may know him from the incredible Max show, Our Flag Means Death. But even if you're not familiar with him, you are about to be, and you are about to be delighted. He is incredible. Very, very, very interesting story. And I'm glad you guys are here to check it out. Not much to say here up top. Go to PeteHolmes.com for tour dates. I added a sixth show in Chicago, late show on Thursday. We're also going to be in Texas and Pennsylvania. All of those are on PeteHolmes.com. And as I've been plugging, May the 4th here in Los Angeles for the Netflix Is a Joke Fest. All of those tickets are on PeteHolmes.com. Hope to see you out. And in the meantime, enjoy the incredible Samba Schutte. I'm so glad you're here. Let's enjoy together. Get into it. You brought Ethiopian honey wine? Yeah. At least show it off. Sit and show us the bottle. Show us your gift that won't be enjoyed.
I'll go back in my fridge.
No, let me see.
It's mead.
You know, you tell me Ethiopian honey wine, but I believe that this is where we get the term honeymoon. Because honey liquor was given to the bride and groom on their wedding night.
Are you serious?
I believe so. So you gave me a bottle of wine that I won't use or enjoy, and I gave you a piece of knowledge that you won't use or enjoy.
What a beautiful exchange. I can go back home and tell it to my wife. Let's enjoy this honey wine.
And I can tell my wife, Samba gave us some wine. You know, Val might enjoy it.
Does she drink?
She drinks.
Then
she's got a problem. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just
She's
kidding.
like, all right.
I'm just kidding.
No, then I'll give it to her.
She would love it.
Yeah.
So yes.
I'm sorry that your wedding night is already past. So
Fuck.
I'm sorry. You can't enjoy it. But no, my
Dude,
pleasure.
It's over. Our
sorry.
wedding. How was your wedding? You're a married mother.
I'm a married motherfucker. Been married for, one of those married motherfuckers.
Two married dudes trying to make it cool, man.
I got married in 2015, 8 years ago, in a park in Beverly Hills. We didn't have money to have a big ceremony.
Oh, wow.
So you know that park.
You squatted in
We squatted in the park. You're not allowed to have chairs. So we found a way around the rules. We bought.
Wait, you did it like a quinceañera?
We bought pillows from IKEA. Like there was only like 30 guests, like all my wife's family, because my family's all like
Sure.
around the world. They were FaceTime.
By the way, no disrespect to quinceañera games. You go to the park.
No, they know how to party.
Quinceañeras.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you figured out what's allowed and you did the max.
Absolutely. We bought like 30 pillows from IKEA, put them on the floor.
Pillows allowed.
Pillows are allowed. Returned the pillows once the wedding was over.
Take that.
Yeah.
Take that. There's some wedding friends.
And it was the park where George Michael got busted in the bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a nice,
you're the
memorable.
Second most famous thing that's happened.
Yeah.
So that park is in England.
Beverly Hills.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right across
Why did I
the
think that
Beverly
happened
Hills
in England?
Hotel.
I
No.
didn't think George Michael did his wackadoos over here.
No, it was Beverly Hills. A nice bathroom.
Really?
Nice park, nice bathroom. I don't blame him.
I mean, sometimes you see a great bathroom.
Yeah, I know.
How do you make fun of this?
You can't.
You know what I mean?
You know, he's
It's
passed
tricky.
away. He's gone.
Did he die?
Yeah.
I didn't know George Michael died.
Oh my God.
When did he die?
Last Christmas.
I gave you
I
my
don't
heart.
know. No, I'm sorry.
No! I didn't
It was just
know.
there. It was right there.
And you did a very
I'm
good.
Sorry. No, thank you.
I didn't know he passed away.
Yeah.
Wham.
Yeah.
Come on. It's just
Yeah.
morning radio.
I know. It's just like,
wham.
wham.
Nobody's waking him up before he goes. Okay. Traffic on the one. Let's talk to the flea. Oh, it's the same guy, just doing an
all the sound
offensive voice.
effects.
Oh! I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah.
Good to see you. So
Good
you
to
got
see you too.
married in the same park, Michael.
George Michael.
George
Not Michael Jackson.
George
no.
Michael Jackson.
George Michael Jackson Jr. Got busted in the bathroom.
Don't say busted.
Well, maybe he did. But
What was he arrested for?
sex or blowjobbing or
Blowjobbing.
something in the public that's not allowed in public in California.
Even here?
Surprisingly so. This is America.
I know, in California too.
Yeah.
I just found that out. I was talking to somebody. See, you're a dad now.
Yeah. Yes.
And my daughter and I were in the park, not that park, a different park. And Leela's friend Nico brought a baseball and a bat, a little foam bat. And they played. And I'm that dad. I love it. I get everybody. We got fielders going. It was awesome. I got to feel athletic. I'm slow, low pitching. Slow, low. Kids are getting hits. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then after about 40 minutes, and in my opinion, we were really just finding our groove. Leela got 2 great hits, by the way. Nico, whose bat it was, every time he was at bat, he's whacking it all the way into the playground.
Okay.
It's awesome. These are like 5-year-old kids.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Nice.
Then at some point, Nico goes, I don't want to play anymore. But he doesn't go, you guys, you seem to be having a fun time. Kids don't do that.
No.
Kids don't go like, clearly
No.
you're having fun.
Yeah.
I know it's my bat, but what am I going to do with it?
No.
Just put it over there.
I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Not going to ruin it for you. You keep playing.
Yeah.
And he took it, and everybody was just, including me, we were just kind of like, well, that's his choice. And I was like, it's funny how quickly that starts from that very, in my opinion, Western capitalist kind of idea. My bat, ownership being 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
And possession being 9/10. It's mine.
Right.
I think from that, it's not that far down from that agreed upon belief to if you're in my house, I can shoot you.
Right.
I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like my bat, my ball, I can leave.
Yeah.
My house, my driveway,
My
I can
rules.
shoot you.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And what brought that to mind was even in California we have, and it's called the castle law,
Get out of here.
which is like king of the castle. If someone's in your house, you can shoot them.
Really?
Yeah, and I somebody was like, yeah, it's a big California thing. I was like, for some reason, no disrespect, New York. I thought there was like a New York thing, like, oh, get the fuck out of
my
here.
property.
But New York's like, hey, man, get the fuck out of here, man.
Really?
We'll fucking blow your head off, man. And I will. I won't serve a day, man. It's Jeff Bridges.
It's called, that's Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Right.
Oh,
Not bad.
it's not good when you have to tell the person.
No, I mean,
Hey, man.
I'm just.
It was the
This is my excuse.
content.
I'm not from here. That's my
I
excuse
see.
for things I don't understand.
Ethiopia.
You grew
But
up
I didn't
there.
know George Michael was dead, so
No,
what's my
that's
excuse?
fine. We've
Can I claim
exchanged information.
Ethiopia?
You can now.
Can I just be like, sorry,
Just
guys?
be like, it's mine. 9/10 possession. Now I know where you're from. Take it. I
Sorry,
didn't know
I'm
it was
from
called the
Ethiopia.
castle law. That's such a weird law.
But you can tell just some like rock hard senators, like they had erections.
Yeah,
when
they're
they
like,
passed
let's
it.
be
They're like,
royal.
yeah.
Let's be royal.
Let's be royal. It's your castle. It's your castle. Anyway, so you are from Ethiopia?
No, grew up in Ethiopia.
Oh, okay. From?
Yeah, from Mauritania.
Okay.
Which is, no one knows where it is. Don't blame them.
Yeah.
Sahara Desert.
Katie and I were just talking about Mauritania, and we didn't even know how to say it.
No, well-
And now I'm just acting. Did you notice how quickly I rolled with it? I was
Yeah,
like,
you did.
Yeah,
Like,
Katie and I were just talking about Mauritania.
We were just in Mauritania.
Mauritanian
researching it. Yeah.
people.
Yeah. No.
Really
Yeah.
powerful, and they speak Farsi.
Yeah.
No,
French, and their local languages, which is Pular, and the Arabic variation, which is Hassania. But the French took over the desert.
Hassania sounds delicious.
Does it? Some Hassania.
Like certain languages sound more delicious than others.
They do.
English, it's not a surprise that
English
English
is like,
food is not good.
No, it's like flavorless.
Portuguese.
Urdu.
Urdu.
Right, I mean, that's
Urdu.
Swahili. That makes you just,
Mexicano is so good. I said
Yeah.
it a little too stereotypical, but I just meant like Mexicano.
You're right,
but it
right,
kind of
right.
came out like
Right. No, but that's
Speedy Gonzalez,
what
and
the
I didn't
flavor-
mean that.
that was the
I didn't
flavor in
mean
your mouth.
that.
That was the
That
flavor
was the
in your mouth.
flavor.
That was the flavor in your mouth.
When I was
Mauritania.
in Mauritania sounds like decent food.
Yeah. I mean, it's by the sea, so it's a lot
Okay.
of fish.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge desert, just Sahara Desert, just sand everywhere. Even the roads, like we have paved roads, but the sidewalks are just sand.
Sandwalks.
The sand.
You got sandwalks?
We
over
got
there?
sandwalks in Mauritania, so that's where I was born. Mother's from there.
We were on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Should I be able to trace our steps?
People can follow you home in Mauritania if you walk on the sidewalk. Yeah.
You'll know if a horse was near Mauritania.
Mauritania.
Was there a snake?
No,
or was that
you'll
a
know.
stick? You don't know.
No, you don't know. There's going to be trails in the sand. So the Chinese came over there and really developed it. So now, like, China's taking over Africa because they're making great deals for the resources, and so in exchange, they're giving infrastructure. So a lot of African countries that are very poor now have 5-lane highways, but no cars to like fill them up. And that's Mauritania. It's just like wide ass roads, traffic lights that no one respects because why?
Why?
And
One dingus in Mauritania
Yeah, just
at a
standing by the
four-way
red
intersection.
light.
No one is there.
No, it's like I'm not gonna break the law.
cell phone stuff, like the battery stuff? Is it like that?
They have a lot of cell phone deals stuff now.
Yeah.
So I still have family members who do not have internet, which is really interesting in this day and age. But a lot of cell phones now, but becoming very modern. Whereas the country
of
itself,
this Chinese
influence. Yeah,
it's not just global happenings that I'm ignorant to. Katie will tell you, I don't know what's happening here. So don't feel like you're talking to typical American doesn't know about the Chinese influenced infrastructure in most of Africa due to resources. But that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But the people aren't coming up with the infrastructure?
And they
Not
build.
that you have to be the
I'm
spokesperson,
the Mauritanian
by the way.
ambassador.
But I mean, you're saying like there aren't people like using this stuff, but is the whole economy not kind of doing better?
The economy
for
is
the people?
Not for the people. The people in power have the money, and it's not filtering down to the rest of the people, which is a shame.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately a lot of the story in Africa. It's like in Zimbabwe, you see that in different developing countries. It's like the money goes to the people who make the deals, and it doesn't filter down to the population.
Right.
Which is kind of like America in a way.
I was just going to say, but didn't it used to? Help me.
I don't know.
Because America certainly has a lot of that, but not full corruption. That seems like full corruption.
Right.
Don't we still kind of... Now we're just two guys talking. You don't have to be the representative,
I'm the representative.
that explains this
The
to
expert.
me. But it seems like we're, there has to be some fairness to, like capitalism. I remember Bono. Here's a quote for you. Bono was like, I'm not anti-capitalism. He's like, I wish Africa, because he has such a heart for Africa, had more capitalisalism. It looked like you had a take on that.
I have a take on Bono. I have a take on Bono.
Did you get?
No.
Are you going to get divorced in the park where you wrote one?
That's where I break up.
That's where it ends.
That's where it ends.
You're just
like no.
When you and your wife are fighting, you're like, should I swing by?
Should we go to that park? I'm going to drive by that park.
You want to? Where's this end? George Michael or Bono?
No. There's that Bono joke, where he's on a concert and he's like, every 5, he's clapping. He's like, he's getting the audience to clap. He's like, every time I clap, one child dies of malaria in Africa. And then one guy goes, then stop clapping, you asshole. That one Bono joke. That's the Bono joke. No, Bono's done great for Africa. Just like Bob.
Well, I guess, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, Bob Geldof, Bono, those are the icons who started like movements in Africa, kind of like developing work in Africa.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's capitalism in Africa for sure. There's some African countries that are way more developed than others.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying Mauritania is slowly getting there. But when you go there, you do feel like you time traveled.
To another time?
To another time.
An earlier time.
An earlier time.
Or like a Star Wars later
No,
time.
I mean, you do feel like you're on another planet because it's the desert.
Yeah.
And people still dress in the...
So that could be the future.
desert garb.
on Tatooine.
Right. Yeah, I know. Dune
It's
3.
like it's either a Dune future or an America past.
Yeah, no, it's like Dune future, but America. It's the in between. It's America past, Dune future, Mauritania. That's my
Dune
travel agent.
future, or like
I'm like
Egypt
a travel
past.
agent.
Like which is it? No, that's the remarketing. It's not ancient. It's Dune future.
It's Dune future.
This is after like some sort of blackout they keep like a solar flare that
Right.
wiped all the data.
Right.
This is the future.
This is the future.
Mauritania.
But
Come
backwards.
taste the future of tomorrow today. But it's
the past.
kind of a bad one. Like something went goofy.
Yeah.
But it is the future.
But it's the future if you want to experience it.
There's Coke 3.
Yeah.
It's like an orange can of Coke 3.
No, it's
Wow.
Like, well, that's interesting. Why is it orange?
Red was outlawed
Yeah, I know.
3 dictators
Yeah,
ago.
exactly. They're like, no more red. Oh my God.
Or it's orange because it seems like a Trump thing.
Oh.
Coke should be orange.
Everything should be orange.
Just working it in. Just working in the impression. Love doing it.
You are amazing at it.
No.
You are.
Well, thank you very much.
No, it's really good.
Mauritania just found out about it. Beautiful Mauritania.
Beautiful.
Dune future. I took Air Force One there. I wasn't supposed to, but I stole it. I stole the keys are under the visor, and I flew it myself. I flew it. I landed in Mauritania.
Dune future.
You can-
Dune future. It's like, no, I can't even.
No, you can. That's
No.
what's fun.
No.
That's what's fun is anyone can. Anyone can. You can see why I'm trying to force it in. It leads to laughs. It leads to laughs. Now I'm talking like him. It leads to laughs. So you grew up in Mauritania.
Born
in Mauritania.
I'm sorry,
and
my
grew
story
up.
in
Tell me your
Ethiopia.
story. Okay.
It's
Born
a
in
confusing story.
Mauritania,
Grew up-
moved to Ethiopia.
Yes.
And why the move?
My father, who's from Holland, met my mom in Mauritania. They married.
She's a Muslim.
She's a Muslim.
Yes, and he's a Dutch.
He's a Dutch Christian.
Am I picturing him right?
Yes.
He just looks like a Lego man?
He is white.
He's white.
Yeah.
He's not white. He's white.
Grew up in a village where it's like everyone has the same family name. You know, basically it's like...
What?
No, it's like, you know, it's
The
like...
Smiths.
Basically. And like everyone's named John. Because it's like, oh, you're my father's John, so you're going to be John. You're going to be John. You're going to be John. So
Is it windmill powered?
It's could be, yeah. No, it was Sound of Music Future went to Dune Future, and
It's the Sound of Music, but there's iPhones.
Yeah.
So it's the Sound of Music Future.
It's the Sound of Music Future.
The travel agent.
I know the Coke cans are green. So no, he was raised in this beautiful, empty Dutch village that's just very traditional. Had a relationship with a girl. She broke up with him, and he's like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here." And he went to volunteer in Africa.
He had a time to leave Holland breakup?
Yeah, time to leave Holland. Break up.
I want to see this woman.
I know.
I want to see the woman that if she
Well, that
breaks
was
up
like,
with you, you're like,
sent you to Africa.
you ruined Holland. Yeah, fuck this. I'm going to Mauritania if I can't be with her beautiful.
That's how beautiful she was. Basically, yeah, I'm going to the Sahara.
This has gotta be a smoking hot 1 in a million girl.
I'm going to the Sahara Desert because you left me. Is like, wow, yeah, that's
like,
yeah.
No one would believe it.
No.
It's like she's that beautiful. No disrespect to Mauritania. It's more about, I picture Holland as like a utopia. I don't know why.
Right.
There's like candy and no one's overweight.
Right.
Or whatever.
Everyone's on a bicycle. Yeah.
Everyone's on a bicycle.
Right.
There's the mayor is like, you get a tax break.
Yeah.
You get a tax break. The
Yeah.
schools are free and
There's
beautiful.
no homelessness. Yeah.
There's nothing happening.
Gotcha.
And he was like, fuck you, bitch.
This is not. It's like, this is not for me. I'm going to where there's nothing.
Why did he pick Mauritania?
There was a program there that was looking for accountants. He was an accountant. And he was like, I want to go to Africa. First, he went to like Ivory Coast, and he loved Africa. And he's like, I want to go to a country now to move to actually work there, do social work. Moved to Mauritania, met my mom. She was a volunteer at that organization.
Oh, wow.
They fell in love. And then they had me, my sister, and then me. And then my dad was offered a job in Ethiopia because that was when the famine was happening in '85, and that's where We Are the World and all of that stuff happened.
The heyday of cruel starvation jokes in America.
Yeah,
People were hot. What a horrible thing.
No, I mean, you're so far away from it.
Right. That's very compassionate. But I remember. I mean, in the '80s, just being like, "What?"
The thing about finish
little.
your food because there's starving kids in Ethiopia.
Well, we had that.
Yeah.
And then you had 10,000 just mean jokes.
Yeah. No, I grew up with those too. Yeah.
What am I doing?
No, it's like, what is this? It's an Ethiopian jumping off a cliff. Like, I grew up with those jokes.
He's too late.
Yeah. So those are the jokes I grew up with.
When you do it did take me back to 1985.
You were back
so I was
there.
conflicted. I hated the joke, but I felt like I was 8 years old.
I felt the bubble
I was kinda like,
of laughter just coming.
it wasn't laughter. It was more joy that there's a Nintendo Entertainment System nearby. It's like I'm sitting crisscross applesauce,
Right.
which we didn't call that at the time. Indian style, is what he called it.
Oh, I see.
And that was like, I went to a very progressive school,
Right.
and it was still Indian style.
It was still
anyway,
Indian style.
so there's a program. They fall in love. She worked at she's an accountant.
She was a
as well?
volunteer. No, she was just a volunteer helping with the women programs, like teaching women up to sew and teaching them skills, basically, and stuff like that. So she was
Wow.
volunteering.
Was
yeah.
she from Ethiopia?
She's Mauritanian.
She.
Yeah. So because
Oh,
we're in
right,
Mauritania.
Right. We're in Mauritania.
We're in
and
Mauritania.
then you go to
and
Ethiopia.
then we go to Ethiopia.
Forgive and forget.
Yeah.
Every mistake I've made.
My story is complicated.
It is.
Yes.
I can't handle my own family. I really can't. I go, you're my cousin? Okay.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
like, all
say so. It's like only every
No,
Christmas.
so it's so hard to explain it because of all the steps that happen.
Yeah.
And so
and places that we don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm watching Game of Thrones.
Right.
Basically, it's like, no, I'm from
Mauritania, the kingdom of
the Kingdom of Mauritania,
basically.
and I deal in the finances. Like, all right, buddy.
Sounds good.
And I fell in love after leaving the land of sweet oats. Heart shattered. I went to Mauritania, the desert, where there's sandy sidewalks. And then I moved to Ethiopia to help with the famine.
To help with the famine.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where we were. Like, we went from Sahara Desert to famine, and I mean, it was really fortunate growing up that way as a kid, because then you see poverty, and you know what poverty is, and you go, okay, I do not want to be that.
Yeah.
But also, I do not want to witness that. I want to change that if I can. And so we were raised very much with that mentality, like enjoy your privilege, and use it for the best
To help
others.
That's really beautiful.
I'm half white, but I've never experienced white privilege. The only time I experienced white privilege was when there was a civil war in Ethiopia and we were evacuated first. And I left my friends there, and I was like, "Oh, this is what white privilege is."
That's extreme white privilege. They let the white families leave first?
Well, the foreigners were like, "We're getting the fuck out of here."
And they were like, okay.
And then they're like, go. Last plane, go. And my friends are like, bye, Samba. I was like, see you in a few months, maybe.
I told you he was white.
I know, you traitor! We thought you were Indian. So, yeah.
Wait, so what happened? You were evacuated because of a what war? A civil war?
Yeah, civil war. Tribal war, like Eritrea, the country Eritrea, north of Ethiopia, wanted to
Have Ethiopia?
separate
Oh,
from
leave.
Ethiopia, and so the armies met, and boom, civil war.
Like on the border? Classic?
Yeah, they would actually come to the capital city. The war came to the city. There was like bullets falling from ceilings and stuff like that. Like you're just walking around, like bullets. When people fire a gun in the air, a bullet falls somewhere.
Yeah, it's like ringing a bell in Angels and Wings, but it's much worse.
Just losing an arm while you're sitting crisscross applesauce playing Nintendo.
Somebody?
Yeah, when it falls through a roof and like, yeah, in your arm, you know.
I can't.
Yeah.
So I've always, not to, I don't know, it's such a heavy thing we're talking about.
I'm sorry, I just brought down the mood.
No. What I'm saying is trying to check before I wreck, is I'm like fascinated that that's always been a question of mine, is when you're shooting in the air, how safe can that be? It can't be safe.
If it's real bullets, it will fall somewhere.
And it'll kill or maim someone.
Yeah, or hurt somebody. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. That's why, when people celebrate by going, do.
Right.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Don't be around them.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, guys.
Don't do that.
Shoot on the ground, maybe.
Yeah.
Just not in the air.
Or blanks.
Maybe. But then you don't get that.
You don't get what?
That erection.
Knowledge
of firing.
I like that you're trying to stick up for them.
Yeah, I know. Literally.
You just know nothing's coming out.
No.
You just know. So how did that manifest to you? How old are you when you were evacuated?
Oh, I was in third grade in the English system, which is fourth grade in America.
Okay.
So I was
old enough to know.
91, 8 years old.
You're old enough, exactly old enough to kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
And do you have a memory of going like, oh, there's a war happening?
Yeah, so we were at school. It was a school day, and then it was like
even worse, war and school.
No, so I know. But it was the best day as a kid because you're at school and it's noon, and all of a sudden the parents are like, "We gotta go," and everyone's like, "Yay, no more school!" Like no one's worried about
right.
what's happening. And I was like,
just your
yay.
reality.
Yeah, no school. Yay!
Yeah.
Where are we going? To the airport. Yay! What? We're flying somewhere. Yay! Here's your suitcase.
Wow.
Let's go. Yay! This is the last plane out. Okay, bye. Hey, where are we off to? Kenya to evacuate. Why? What's happening? War. Dad's staying behind, but you go. And
Dad stayed behind?
Dad stayed behind for a couple of months. Yeah, because he had to work and help, whatever. So, yeah, it was a weird day. It was a weird day of leaving school and being on a plane to run away while your friends are crying. And, your Ethiopian friends are like, what about us? And you're like, I'm sorry. I'll be back with candies from Holland when I come back. And
exotic fruits will mark my trail home. And were your friends okay when you came back?
They were okay, luckily. Some friends I never saw again because they were Eritrean, and so they were kind of kicked out of the country. So there's some friends I never saw again after that.
What?
Yeah. Which is weird. Yeah.
Happening right now.
Just terrible. White privilege.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah. So
for sure. Oh, you meant your white privilege. I also just meant my white privilege.
No, my white privilege.
Yeah.
Because I'm 50% white.
Yeah.
I can never check that on a box when I fill out those immigration forms.
Right.
Because they're not going to believe me.
When it's AI, you can. When it's like a robot, they'll be
When they're like,
I do not. All I see is DNA.
Do not process. Oh, right. Yeah.
What would visual stimuli lies all the time? Masks, wigs. I know by it. Just give me some of your blood. All right. Hello.
Yeah, 50%
Welcome,
white.
Whitey. Welcome, Whitey. There is a Cracker Barrel down the way. It gives you customized. I believe there's a Target. Everybody loves Target.
Yeah.
This is heavy. My privilege is obviously, I just bought my daughter a book called If the World Were 100 People. She's 5. And what?
If the world was 100 people. Wow.
It's a book about statistics.
Okay.
Because I'm just, listen to this sentence is just oozing with privilege and I want to note it. I'm noting it and acknowledging it. I'm trying to teach my daughter a little bit about what the fuck is going on.
Wow.
And the statistics in the book it's a heavy read for me.
I mean,
she's
5-year-old.
And she's like, what if they were? Like, she's just stuck. I don't even know if she knows that it's a teaching lesson.
Right.
But it's like 8 people would have black hair. And like, it's like 1 person would have blonde hair.
From
one
the 100?
person. Yeah, it's a way of saying 80%, 10%.
Yeah. Right.
And like one, they don't do this, but like half a person would have red hair.
Right.
But like, also when you see how many Muslims there are, when you see how few, like, it's just fascinating.
That's
and then
interesting.
also when you get to the part where it's like, I'm going to get this wrong, but it's something like 6 people have clean water, 4 people don't. And you're just like,
yeah.
but like, this is so, this conversation, this is the lived version of me being read that book. I
Right.
feel like a 5-year-old.
I'm sitting you down. So this is what's happening.
But there aren't fun pictures to help me.
there's
I'm
no
just
fun,
thinking of you
dark
crying
fact,
and
just
your
me,
friends.
just your imagination going crazy about what went down.
Yes,
Yeah.
and completely incapable of picturing any of the landscapes.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like
Dune future.
Dune future.
Dune future.
But Ethiopia is not Dune future.
Ethiopia's green Dune, like Dune green, like
Okay.
if Dune was green.
I've been to Uganda, which is
Oh
central.
wow. Okay, yeah. So
And I've been to Kenya, but I've never.
yeah,
been
so
to
Kenya is
flavor.
similar to Ethiopia nature-wise.
Okay.
There's some greenery. California is very Ethiopia.
Oh,
Yeah, nature.
so to bring it to you, so it's not just a history lesson.
History, I'm an expert. You brought in the expert today.
I know, but I am doing that white guy thing of like, tell me of your troubles while I have Campbell's soup or whatever, like just fucking idiot. Around that age, you got, like, psychologically speaking, 7. A lot of kids when they're 7, their parents get divorced. A lot of people when they're 7, some bad thing happens.
Right.
The veil is torn.
Right.
And in a fucked up way.
That defines their personality for the rest of their lives. Yeah.
And what I was going to say is sort of fucked up is you almost like around 7 is sort of perfect to develop an artist. Like if you're going to like shake the cage at a certain age.
Right.
Too young doesn't compute.
No.
I don't know if there's I can't really follow that through with too old or anything, but like I know 7 is just young enough, so as vulnerable as possible, but just old enough to understand.
To process things.
So how did it affect you and how did that lead to comedy?
So yes, no, there's different types of comedians. Obviously, most of the comedians I know come from a divorced home or a difficult home, and they use comedy. Comedy was what helped them kind of cope with it.
Coping mechanism, yeah.
And so you see that a lot. What I love about you is that your comedy is very positive. And that's why I really like your stuff, because you're a very positive comedian. I think how it affected me is in a positive way, because I experienced what it is to not have privilege, to not have, how do I want to say this? This is what my parents taught me. It's like, use your privilege for good. Yeah. So I knew that whatever I do in my life has to help others.
Yeah. And then your dad was like, I'm not even joking. He's like, and I'll show you that I will be staying here.
Yeah, right. For a couple of months. Yeah.
For a couple of months.
While bullets fall through the ceiling and stuff like that.
Right. So he was a real hero.
Basically, I mean, he had to stay back behind. So, yeah. So I think when I came back, 8 years old, life continued as normal, as you would say. But comedy only happened, we didn't have stand-up comedy in Ethiopia. I never grew up with stand-up comedy. I think the first stand-up comedy show I saw was a VHS tape from Bill Cosby. That was like Bill Cosby himself.
Of course.
We got that, and then
Scandal noted.
yeah, obviously.
I understand criminal, bad thing.
Yeah.
Bad thing. Bad person.
Right.
Did bad things. And that special, I also saw that and was like, what? Because it seemed like my dad.
Yeah, it was like
You know what
dad
I mean?
talking about being a dad and the kids and all that kind of stuff.
And you're
Right.
Well, a string of spit.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching it.
So
and
that's
it
what I
was-
grew up
Yeah.
like when I was like 15. I saw that tape and I was like, "What is this art form? What is this?" Like so
And
he's talking.
sitting down.
He's sitting down. He's talking, and people are laughing.
Yeah.
But I think where my comedy really came from is being bullied as a kid.
Get
Yeah.
I can't handle this.
I'm
today.
sorry. This is just
Open
the
that honey
worst.
wine.
I know,
Open
let's
that
pop out
honey wine.
Come on. I mean, but it's again, I see it as a blessing
Yes,
because
yes.
I'm half black, half white. I went to an English school that was international, kids from all over the world. But I was always the outsider because I didn't belong with the Africans because I'm not fully dark or African.
Was there kind of racism that way?
That was, I mean, it was kind of like we'd play soccer at lunchtime and it'd be like foreigners against locals, that kind of stuff.
Which means you're just the ref.
Which
is perfect because that's black and white stripes.
Basically. Oh my God.
Oh no.
There you go.
You can have that. What am I going to use it?
Yeah, go for it. Mauritania, Dune
I
Future.
knew this
I know.
Yeah, you see me next time doing stand-up. Mauritania's like Dune Future.
You got
Everyone's like,
orange cancer Coke.
why are you talking about this? And if you're half black, half white at recess, you're the
referee.
Which is perfect.
I know.
Everyone's like, boo.
Like, what is Pete Holmes doing?
I can do anyone's
happened?
act. That's the ultimate white privilege.
Oh my God.
Go on.
No. So
So you didn't get to play.
I mean, I played.
You'd have to
I'd choose a side.
You'd have to like negotiate.
Just like, oh, where are we short-handed?
Yeah,
And then I joined that team.
I don't like this. I'm riffing, but I really don't like this.
I don't want this. So no, I got bullied just because I was an outsider. Like there was this guy. We made amends years later, and he's passed away now. So God rest his soul. But basically, it was funny because as a younger kid in like 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I hired him to be my bodyguard at school. Just like, I don't know why. I'd pay him 50 cents a month and he'd just protect me or, work for me.
What?
Yeah.
This is like a Richie Rich
No.
plot line. It's like, so I hired one of the tough boys to escort
so it was like,
me.
I don't know why. It was
But
just
it
like
came
a
from
thing.
fear.
He-
You
yeah.
were in trouble.
Right.
And there was a big kid.
Yeah.
And you gave him 50 cents a month.
Yeah.
To help you, not escort you around.
No.
But to
Just be like,
protect
hey,
you.
man, like these kids are kind of like acting up. So
Were you getting jumped and stuff?
No, but just like, kids would come, how kids bully, like, oh,
Yeah.
what do you,
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
fun of you or whatever.
Right.
And then he ended up being my bully, my bodyguard. So I don't think I paid him enough.
It just cuts back to me and I'm gone. Like you keep going for the rest of the episode, but like I can't handle
You can't
it.
handle this.
You were giving him 50 cents a
Yeah.
month and then he turned on you.
Yeah, he turned on me, and so
Your
but
bodyguard.
my bodyguard turned on me, and
Started being like, "These guys are right.
These guys, this
Like,
guy's
he's
an
he-
asshole."
He's hearing all the snaps
Yeah,
and he's like,
I know.
"Well,
It's
actually with them. He just slowly moves over
No,
to
it's
their
like-
side. And you keep the 50?
Yeah, no, never paid me back.
I hate this.
No, he bullied me, and so what? This is.
Do you remember
it's
the
a
first
happy
time?
ending.
Because there's got to be the first betrayal.
There was. They wanted me to kiss this Indian boy, who was a friend of mine, and they're like, "You kiss him."
I can't handle the 90s.
I'm so
I
scared
can't
for my
handle it.
son. For any school, high school is just mean.
It's going to be better. It's
is
going to
it?
be better.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
I guarantee.
I don't know.
Your son, when he's in high school, we're talking in 15 years.
Yeah.
Or 13 years.
Right.
It's going to be better.
I don't know.
There's going to be a drone assigned to every child.
Just to get 50 cents
also,
a month.
He's just going to be in the bathtub with an Apple Vision Pro
right,
on, being
just
like,
walking around.
nobody's going. Would you like to open the bully app? And it's like, no. Force quit. He'll be fine. He's going to be better. There's
All right.
no way.
I don't know what it was. High school was just mean. It's just where you learn, skills to defend yourself and all that kind of stuff.
Both of us were figuring out how to be razzle dazzle enough
Right.
to have this stop happening.
Right.
So yes, I'm with you.
No, so get bullied. How do
What
I?
was they wanted you to kiss,
wanted to kiss
the
this Indian
yeah,
boy, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do this. And then because I was the first kid in school to have an earring and a ponytail.
Right ear,
Right, left ear.
right ear was the
Right ear was the gay.
in the
thing
90s. There was an
90s
ear
for
that
some
was the
reason.
gay ear.
Yeah, so
I couldn't even remember.
I
But
know.
you got the straight ear.
I did, and only because in Mauritania, the firstborn son, left ear, secondborn son, right ear. So my younger brother had it hard in the 90s because he had a piercing in the right ear. I got one.
Look at the shock on my face.
I know. This
I am
is
like
I am
aghast.
so sorry to anyone who might be listening to this. This
I
is
am
just
aghast.
a shock Pete Holmes episode.
I didn't know how firmly I believed that people in the 90s need to honor, to avoid bullying, the right ear, left ear bullshit rule. But your brother had another right ear, left ear tradition
basically
that superseded the homophobic 90s tradition.
Right.
And there he was.
And there he was with a piercing in his right ear, and kids would...
Could he have not gotten a piercing?
Yeah.
But if he wanted one.
But it's traditional, and it was like, I'm going to honor my culture.
I choose 0
You
earrings. I go honor culture.
Or 90s kids bullying you.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Like, no culture. I choose no culture.
By the way, that was my play.
Yeah.
I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
Just
nothing.
Right.
Whiteboard.
Right.
Go on.
So, no.
Oh, they wanted you to kiss.
Kiss this boy. I'm like, no, I don't want to. And then I look to my bodyguard. Hey, man, you going to help me out here? And he's like, no, go ahead and kiss him. And that moment, Pete is like, like slow motion pan to your face.
Yes,
like,
while we zoom out on the background.
Yeah.
So it's the both.
It is. It's like
it's like into the Spider-Verse. It goes all dots.
Yeah.
Yes, the betrayal.
The betrayal, the deception, the pain that comes with it, the anger that I wasted $2 whole on this
and
kid.
For what? Now I'm out here smooching Indian boys for cash while you all watch.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
I had to.
Buddy, the fucking 90s.
I know.
The fucking 90s.
And then they walked away, and then I was like...
And were they satisfied?
They were.
No. They were just...
They don't know what they felt.
They don't know what they want.
They don't know.
They don't know what they need.
They saw it, and they were like, oh, actually, I don't know about this. And then they left.
Go listen to Slipknot, you fucks.
So, bullying continued, and now he's part of it, and he's instigating it and all this kind of stuff.
Now he's totally swapped sides.
Yeah. And so the guy, the artist in me bubbled up because basically I was like, okay, my only mode of defending myself, as you know, in the 90s, was to diss somebody. And when you diss somebody, you humiliate them in front of everyone else, and you're basically the guy no one wants to mess with, right?
I can't. You're bringing me all the feelings, every feeling of the 90s, and I'm dead inside. You're getting a plan together to diss.
You're
diss and dismiss.
Yeah.
And you got to pick the right time.
You got to pick the right time because it's got to be an audience.
Did you write a line?
In bed at night, like I wouldn't sleep, and I'd just be like, okay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this.
You're killing me.
Building, like
which is what we do now with our acts.
Just in bed going.
We're just bullying bad crowds now. I gotta diss a bad crowd.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or diss a bad situation.
Right.
But
so
preparing,
not
safe.
Having your artillery ready.
Stack your ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then so the day came, and the moment came, and we were in class, and I had an audience.
What is this, Moonlight? What is this, Moonlight?
I don't know.
I can't handle this.
I'm sorry, the moment came. This is what led me to be a comedian, Pete.
Yes.
This is the reason for my success.
Yes.
So it has a happy ending.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Day came. Face off. This is it.
Before class, after class?
During class.
During class?
Yeah,
so
during
the
class.
teacher
was...
Even the teacher was like,
you deserve it. You deserve it. So during class, basically, I was like, okay, this is it. Because he was trying to bully me again. And there was an audience. There's people watching. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it now. Boom. Started some... He was chubby, fat. So it was all the fat jokes, like...
Oh, But you wrote your own material?
Yeah.
I mean, good for you.
I mean,
in the 80s, in the 90s, you could just go to a classy bookstore and they'd have books, just leather-bound books called "Ways to Take Down Fatties." Like it was not. Nobody had a problem with that.
You didn't have to work with it.
It was the president of the United States could just do it, make a what was known as a fat joke. Nobody's body shaming. Everybody's beautiful. Keep going.
Right. No. So basically, we didn't have those resources in Ethiopia, so I had to come up with my own material.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So boom, had to do it. Brought him down. Everyone's laughing. I don't remember.
Something.
Yeah, no, it's just like, it was stupid.
Yeah.
It was like your belly button is like a dartboard. I don't know. It's like, didn't make sense, right?
Yeah, sure.
But we're 11 years old and...
As you still said something.
Yeah. And
everyone went, oh.
Yeah, everyone, oh, and he's like humiliated and stuff. And after that day, I didn't get bullied again, but I discovered that comedy was my weapon. And that's what was the foundation for, I have the power to make people laugh, and I have an audience that listens, and that gives me power to share something. Yeah. And I didn't know what stand-up comedy was. I watched Bill Cosby himself. I was like, this is an art form of some kind. And then Eddie Murphy Raw came into my life. And then I was like, okay, this is something I might want to do.
Wherein he makes fun of Bill Cosby.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that the one where he's like, have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Who knew?
So that was my journey to comedy, as dark and as depressing as that was.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It wasn't depressing, and it seems like it was hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard remembering how raw we all were.
Right.
And like, I was just talking to another parent where we were talking about like, it's spring break and what are you going to do with your kids? And somebody was like, well, there was a swim camp, but like I had to work and I wasn't going to just drop my kid at a camp that I had never like watched or like observed or like that they don't know anybody. And I was like, boy, this is why I think your son is going to be just fine.
I hope
it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Now parents, in the 90s, nobody was like, I'm not going to send my son to a camp I haven't observed. Right. And I'm not talking about the whole day, but like you want to watch and get a sense of the vibe. Right. Is everything okay? I was dropped street level. I was, you know what I mean? It was at the street I was dropped. Right. Like the car was pulling away before my door had totally closed.
Before somebody was like, make sure you're okay. Right.
And now I'm just in sometimes I'm at the wrong place. Like, turns out it was a computer camp. Like that's a different camp. Here's a bill.
It's like, here you go. Your son was amazing at it.
Okay, so how long after your Snaps battle did you find your first... Because I read on the internet that you played a Steven Spielberg video game and that...
Oh my God.
Tell me.
Yes.
Tell me the story.
12th birthday, I get a Christmas gift from my dad. We had a PC that we shared with the family. One of those Microsoft Gateway things that take forever to start up and load, and the internet that goes... all that stuff. Yeah.
How well could you do that sound? Here's what's crazy. You would know it if it was wrong.
Yeah.
But you couldn't
do it. No,
you can't do it.
Like that's off.
There was It definitely starts.
Yeah.
There's definitely a low high.
They got jagun in it.
Jagun. That's my rap name. Jagun. What's up, HTML? Go on.
So my dad gets me this video game called Steven Spielberg's Director's Chair.
Because he saw a little razzle dazzle in you?
No, because he saw that I was doing we had a video camera and I would start making like little stop motion animation things with toys and stuff. And he's like, this guy's gonna be an artist. And so
your fucking hero, your sensitive-hearted Dutch chocolate-loving dad that just couldn't stop supporting Ethiopia and his family.
Right.
And seeing you.
Right.
I too was up making with a camcorder stop motion stuff.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was a huge change in my life.
That was fun. It's just like you move the toy a little bit on off.
Yes.
On, off. Yeah.
And if it was an old enough one, it would be you'd have to listen for when it's recording, then off.
Right. Or
because it's not actually starting. It's not like an iPhone that starts. It would be like it would rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it would and then stop.
And you have to stop. So he saw that I was interested in that kind of stuff. And so he got me this video game, which no one in America knows about.
No, I don't know about it.
I've asked so many people here, like, do you know Steven Spielberg's Director's Chair? No one's ever heard about it. So I don't know if Steven Spielberg was exporting it to, like, I don't know, African, third world countries or whatever.
It was his Bond move.
Yeah, it was.
Every time I clap, a DP is established in Africa.
A director is born in Africa. And it was an amazing video game. It was basically a box of 8 CDs that you put in the game, like in the computer one at a time, where you get to direct a film on the Universal Studios lot. All right. A Variety article appears saying, Samba, you put your name in and it creates an article. Pete Holmes hired to direct a film starring Quentin Tarantino, Jennifer Aniston, and Penn and Teller, those magicians. Those were the actors that you would use in your film.
Wait, they were in it?
They were in it. So
Tarantino was in it as an actor?
Tarantino.
Shut the fuck up. What?
Jennifer Aniston, Quentin Tarantino, Penn and Teller. So you're basically a director, right? You hired Quentin Tarantino as your main lead.
Famous actor.
Right. And he's in jail, okay? The story is always like, he's in jail, he's a prisoner. Jennifer Aniston is his girlfriend trying to get him out of jail. And Penn and Teller are the bad guys. And then you basically have those actors. And so the first step is writing the script. So you go to the writer's office and you write a story. Okay, what do you want it to be? Do you want it to be mystery? Do you want it to be drama? Do you want it to be comedy? And then you write a script with the writers and you have a script.
Wait, the writers help you?
Yes.
What is this, Chat GPT?
I don't know what is it. This is 1995, all right? And it's like amazing technology. That's why I'm like surprised no one's heard about this game. You write the script. You start shooting the movie on the Universal Studios lot and you choose. Start with a master, close. Do you want a wide? Do you want a two-shot? What happens? And then
Who says the lines?
you click it, and then you see a video of Quentin Tarantino acting with Jennifer Aniston, and then
but
they
not
do their
saying your
scene.
lines.
They say the lines from the script you wrote with the writers.
No, shut up.
No, this is
shut up.
this is please check out this.
I feel like
There's YouTube videos of this game. Please check it out.
so. It's like a voice. It's like talking moose.
They
it's like,
are-
hello, I want to. Like, is that?
No, they actually do your lines like, babe, I'm so sorry that, whatever it is that you wrote with the writer. I'm sure it was premeditated. Whatever you write with the writer was already like,
Oh, you were making
plan.
choices.
I guess
of
so,
what they
because you're like,
could
it's a
say.
comedy, but I want this scene. I want an escape
And
scene.
then when you're writing the dialogue, you're choosing. Do you want them to say, "Hi, how are you?"
Right, yeah.
Pre.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's-
Pre.
so it's
but you couldn't
pre-shot.
just say,
You know,
"Hey,
it can be
banana
like,
pants."
Samba is amazing.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
have.
Well,
Quentin
okay.
Tarantino
So
say.
you
No.
chose what was set.
Yes, you chose what was said. You shoot the thing. You choose what props, whatever, and all that kind of stuff. Then you go to the editing room. You edit your movie with this editor, Michael Kahn, that Steven Spielberg always works with. He's done every Spielberg movie. And you edit it. You choose your master shots, your close-ups, your two shots. You edit the movie. Then you
So
go.
every line, there's a master, a single, and a two-shot.
Yes. Yes, you make a movie and then you go to the sound department you add your sound effects and then you add your music score and then you have your premiere and then you have yes you do. There's a red carpet and then the curtain opens and then you play your movie in front of an audience and it does the whole movie from start to finish with your dialogue, your sound effects, your music, your cues, and then you get a review in Variety. And stuff happens while you're filming, like earthquakes that halt production, or you go over budget, or you go over time and you don't make it, and all this kind of stuff. It was like an amazing video game. I'm so surprised no one has ever heard about it here in America.
Again,
Steven Spielberg's director's chair.
look at my face. I'm
is what-
the joy version of the earring thing. I'm as affected by what you're telling me.
This is what got me into making want to come to Hollywood.
Did it have incredibly long load times? I'm assuming you could hear the
You
computer
could, I mean,
churning.
it's 8 CDs, and so it was like, and then finally it was like, okay, it's loaded.
Why was it Tarantino?
I don't know. Spielberg was, I don't know, hiring Tarantino as an actor in the 90s, was he?
I mean, he's in Dusk Till Dawn. He
Right.
acts. He's in Pulp Fiction.
He was really good. Him and Jennifer Aniston.
Were they easy to direct? Did they take notes?
There was.
Could you give them notes?
You
I
could,
believe anything about this game. Could you say like more intensity?
no, you could choose. You could choose an emotion. You could choose like, yeah, I want it more dramatic, or I want it funnier, and they would be more goofy, or they'd be more serious. And so you could do that.
And then the
adjustment.
movie has to be just a mishmash.
It makes
Mess.
sense. No, it makes sense. It's like there's a story and there's everything, and from start to finish, and you make a 15-minute movie sometimes. And then, yeah, then you get hired again by the studio to make an even longer movie and an even longer movie. And it just keeps going forever. So that's what got me into acting and directing.
You should have just stayed with the game. Sounds like everything you need was in this game.
It was
And
incredible.
then they mail you a check.
I know, seriously. So the first time
Were the reviews ever bad?
Yeah, Variety would slay like Samba movie. Yeah, of course. Yes, I mean like Samba is shoot movie like terrible, does not do well in the play. Overproduction, producers are angry that he went over budget and all this stuff. And it's not your fault because there's earthquakes and they have to rebuild the set and after the earthquake and all that kind of stuff. And
Wow.
or that one of the actors is I don't know in their dressing room and not wanting to come out. I don't know.
So
This
basically, your life is the movie Gran Torino. Except instead of playing Gran Torino and then becoming a
Right.
race car driver, you were pretending to be a director and then you became actor, director, writer.
And the first time I stepped on the Universal Studios lot, I was like, this is wild. I've been here before. As a 12-year-old kid in Ethiopia.
I know my way around.
I know this building.
Where's Crafty?
Yeah, I know. Where's Crafty?
Wow.
So, yeah. So it was beautiful how that came full circle.
I know Penn a little bit. I wonder if I could ask him if he has any memory of doing it.
Right.
That's because I really want to know everything.
Penn and Teller, they were the bad guys in it.
They were the bad guys.
Yeah, the magicians, and they make things disappear in it. And everything. Like they were,
Which
yeah.
isn't impressive in a video game. You know, whenever you see magic, like Tom Cruise is always doing magic and like Mission Impossible, he's like, is the key here? No. And everyone's like, yeah, but we can only see it from the angle that you know.
Yeah, you don't cut it.
That's right. It always makes me laugh. Down here. But he drops the key, and you know they drop the audio of the key. Ting, 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 ting. And I'd love to just see the dailies where he's like, or is the key here? Ting, 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 ting. Oh my God, I'd pay $1 million.
Right.
This episode is brought to us by our friends at ARMRA. You guys know I am obsessed with ways to strengthen my immunity, improve my gut health, as well as my fitness, endurance, and metabolism, as well as, of course, hair, skin, radiance. Imagine one product that handles all of these things. Well, stop imagining. It's ARMRA Colostrum. What is colostrum? It's the first nutrition we receive in life, and it contains all the essential nutrients our bodies need to thrive. I'm talking about reactivating hair growth and glowing skin by reducing inflammation and puffiness in your face and neck, as well as stimulating stem cells to produce collagen and increase elasticity. I'm talking igniting your metabolism and fortifying gut health in ways that you will notice. This is my biggest change, is I've just noticed that my stomach is cool. It is settled. It is calm. It's like a stone, meaning in the good way. It's stoic. I have a stoic belly. You feel less bloated and lighter while replenishing your microbiome, as well as fueling your fitness, performance, and recovery. ARMRA Colostrum is a proprietary concentrate of bovine colostrum that harnesses over 400 living bioactive nutrients that rebuild the barriers of your body and fuel cellular health for a host of research-backed health benefits. It's wholly natural, sustainable, and was developed with the highest integrity, grass-fed in the U.S., and they guarantee the highest potency and bioavailability of any colostrum on the market for results you can see and actually feel. I'm taking this 2, 3, 4 times a day. Just anecdotally speaking, I've been watching everyone around me getting sick. There's a reason why they call this an immune booster. I have been maintaining perfect health, and I don't think that's a coincidence. We've worked out a special offer with Weirdos. You'll get 15% off your first order. Go to tryarmra.com/weird or enter weird to get 15% off your first order. That's tryarmra.com/weird. I remember it like it's like ARMRA. Tryarmra.com/weird. We're also brought to us by our friends at Electric e-bikes. One of the greatest improvements in our life as a family has been our electric e-bikes. It gets us out there in the ways we used to when we were kids. Remember when you were a kid, that sense of adventure, just jumping on your bike and going for a cruise? Well, nothing makes that easier and more pleasurable, more fun than electric e-bike. So this spring, get out there, enjoy the weather, and recapture the magic of riding a bike with electric e-bike. With an amazing variety of models built for riders of all abilities, it's never been easier to fall in love with riding again. Plus, every electric e-bike ships free and only requires a quick toolless assembly. It's really cool. Comes out of the box, it unfolds, and you're pretty much over halfway there. It's very easy to put together. Go to electricebikes.com to discover e-bikes that start at just $7.99 with the XP Lite. They are comfortable. They are fast. The first time I turned the throttle on the bike and zipped off, I laughed with joy, and that's what we're talking about. Something that gets joy and comfort and speed and levity back into your life. Data shows that e-bike riders take their bike out more often, meaning more exercise, exploration, and fresh air. I have the +1 seat. That was also very easy to install for Leela to ride on the back of my bike. She loves it. You get up to 150 miles on one charge with Lectric's unbeatable long-range options, which is what we have. Financing as low as $49 a month, plus savings on gas, parking, and maintenance. I can attest to that. We go to a very popular farmer's market here in town, and being able to cruise in and just park it at the bike rack is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Durable features and accessories for added safety, convenience, and control. So guys, go full throttle this spring with electric e-bikes, the #1 selling e-bike in the nation. Get your adventure started with electricebikes.com. And please do this. Mention at checkout that You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes sent you in the post-checkout survey. It only takes 2 seconds, and it really helps the show. That's LECTRIC ebikes.com, and tell them this show sent you. All right, everybody, back to the show. Okay, so your dad changes your life forever. You're 8 years old when this happened?
12.
12. I'm sorry. 8 was the disc.
The disc bullying building up to 11. 12. Get all the skills to direct.
And then when did you come to Your next experience of comedy.
So when I moved to Holland to go to college, I was 18, moved to Holland, went to this international university.
When you left for Holland, did your dad, silhouetted by a window, without turning around, go, "If you see her, don't tell me." And then thunder cracks, and you're like, "I won't, Papa. You know of who I speak."
The name you will not say.
Jennifer! They're all named Jennifer.
They're all named Jennifer and Holland.
Like 75 Jennifers. So you go to Holland.
Go to Holland. I'm in this college. I want to act. I want to become an actor. That was like, I asked permission to my mom, because in Ethiopia or in Africa anyway, like being an actor is like not a profession. You can't say I'm going to be an actor. You have to be like a pilot or a lawyer or a doctor. But I had the talk with my mom. I'm like, I really want to act. Okay, is that okay with you? Yes, but get some degree in something else. So I was like, okay, I'm going to learn theater, but also how to teach theater. So I have a teacher's degree if anything goes bad.
Here's my impression of your mom when you said, "I'm going to be your mom."
Yeah.
Say, your line is, "Mom, I am going to study acting, but as a backup, I'm going to get a degree in teaching acting." Okay, I'm going to be your mom.
Okay. Ma, so I'm going to be an actor, but don't worry, I'm going to get a degree as an acting teacher for theater. It pays really well, Mom. There's always...
I can't even do it! No. I was going to start crying!
That was excellent. There was a deep moment of silence. There was.
For those listening audio only, it was just a big smile to zero, very slowly.
Right.
But she could not have been thrilled. She
No.
meant computer science.
She was like,
Samba.
no, like pilot.
Yeah, she meant medicine.
Right.
You were
right.
like, and I'll teach
But don't worry,
acting.
I'll teach actors. These losers, I will teach them.
I'll make more of them. Droves of unemployed idiots will be under my command. She's like, I meant engineering.
Exactly. You were amazing at chemistry and biology. What happened? Yeah.
Go on.
So I'm in college. I'm starting acting. There's an open mic. I want to do a monologue as an actor. So I write my own monologue, funny monologue. Turns out they only have a microphone on stage. I grab the mic, do my monologue. It's stand-up comedy.
Whoa.
And everyone was like, how long have you been doing stand-up comedy for? I was like, oh, this was a monologue. I'm an actor. And they're like, no, this was stand-up comedy. I'm like, really? And that's how it started.
You got chocolate in my peanut butter?
Yeah.
You made Silly Putty by accident?
Right. Yeah, basically. I
Whoops.
stumbled into stand-up comedy.
Whoops.
By wanting to be
Whoops, I did stand-up.
Yeah. Whoops. This is stand-up. There's a microphone. I'm an actor doing a monologue.
Was the monologue you?
Yeah, I mean, talking. Yeah, I was like...
Talking about your life.
Talking about how guys...
You weren't like...
No, it's like how guys hit on girls.
has always been finicky mistress.
No, it was like how
like
guys hit on girls, like the nerdy guys
did
and the cool
stand-up.
guys, and then like doing that as my monologue, and it turned out to be stand-up comedy. And then I became the stand-up comedian on campus, and every time they had an open mic, I'd do a monologue with my microphone and become a stand-up comedian. And that's how it started, by accident.
You know the quote, Houdini? You know the Houdini quote? Houdini, he goes, a magician is an actor pretending to be a magician, and you were an actor pretending to be a comedian.
Right.
I mean, it is. It is a type of...
Right.
Sometimes I say that on stage. I'm like, it's my job to be in this mood.
Yeah.
The mood that I'm in.
Right.
Like, you don't always
No.
feel like doing it.
No.
But you play the
Right.
part. And then sometimes in playing the part, you become the part.
Right.
As I'm sure I can't speak to that, but like really deep, good trained actors become and start feeling what their character feels.
Right.
So that's really cool.
So yeah, that's how it started. And then I started doing those open mics every 3 months or whatever. And then I had a tape of material that I sent to this agency, and they wanted to see me perform, but they wanted to see me perform in Dutch. This was all in English, by the way, because English is my first language.
Yeah. And the best language.
And the best language ever.
It's just the best one.
It's so delicious.
Bad food.
Yes, but
not
language is delicious. Food, terrible.
You know, it's not great language, but it is everywhere.
No, you have all the words you need.
We have all the words you need.
Yeah.
And you can go anywhere.
Right.
They're trying.
They will try.
They're trying.
They will try to understand you.
Yeah. I remember feeling that way. Obviously, Uganda, colonialized and all that.
Right.
So there's a
By the British.
yikes. There's a yikes reason. Why y'all taking tea? Why do you guys
Why'd
have
you
tea?
have tea? Well, A, why'd you have Jesus? And B, why'd you have tea and sandwiches?
Why tea, Jesus? Why y'all have Jesus? You can have that. What am I going to do?
Come on. How about this? You go to Uganda, everyone's drinking tea with Jesus. It's Jesus. Like, what happened to Pete Holmes? Just his career dips after his podcast
had one
with Samba.
conversation with Samba. He had a break, thought he was half white, half Ethiopian, or I'm sorry, I forgot
Mauritanian.
the name. Mauritanian.
Dune past, Dune future.
It sounds a little too much like Avatar Unobtainium.
Really?
Yeah, for me, for my taste.
That's
if you could
interesting.
change it.
Yeah. If we can, I'll talk to the
Could you make it
president.
a little more, I don't know, a little more African
Maybe
sounding.
obtainable, unobtainable.
Unobtainable. That's the worst thing in movies. Keep going. So you kept doing the open mic every couple of months in English, but they wanted it in Dutch.
Suddenly, this organization, this company that I sent my tape to, they hired stand-up comedy. It was still kind of new in Holland. Stand-up only started in the 90s in Holland. Before that, they had another art form called cabaret, which is like a man goes on stage and tells a story.
The cabaret, yeah.
Yeah, and does music or whatever and sings and stuff.
Right. We had a weird time. Like, I mean, us as a people, comedians, we're always mixed with some big guy on a piano.
Right. There's always,
and there's got to be ladies.
Yeah.
like, what do you... like, comedy started out like a newborn deer, and everyone was like, what the fuck is this?
What is this?
Like, well, there's a big guy on the piano, there's smoking inside, and there's ladies. And they're like, all right, you can tell me your dick joke.
Yeah, let's go listen to it.
And then if you had told those people in 2024... It'll just be the guy that comes out while you're setting up the chairs.
Right.
They'd be like, get out of here.
I don't want this.
Games and piano.
Piano and ladies.
Piano and ladies. That's what has staying power. We're like, no, it's actually the guy.
It's been gone for 100 years. I'm sorry.
No one wants that. Try to draw a crowd with piano and ladies. Actually, you could.
Yeah,
piano and ladies.
Maybe. Some places.
In New Orleans, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that New Orleans is still a piano and ladies town.
So can
you started dancing. You made me so happy.
Send them the tape. They want me to do stand-up in Dutch, which is my fourth language. Like, I do not speak it well.
Brag.
No, I'm sorry. That's not a brag. It's to show that I do not speak it well.
No, that was respect. That wasn't like, hey, brag alert. I was like, all right.
No, it's like, it goes English, French, Ethiopian, Dutch. And I do not speak Dutch well, but here's the challenge. I have to do well or I will not book this gig and work as a stand-up comedian.
Wow.
So I have to memorize these jokes word by word. And like if you're memorized 100%, you do not, in a language that you do not speak well, you can't improvise.
Right.
So if something happens, you can't
There's
react to it.
If you go over budget.
You're right. You get that bad review from Variety, it's over.
So you memorized...
Yeah.
Did you know what you were saying?
I did know what I was saying. No, I did know what I was saying, but when someone in the audience responded, in the language you do not speak, you can't respond to that because you're with your script, right? You can't.
You need one save line in Dutch. This guy. Like, how do you say this guy in Dutch? Just say that just anytime. Like, this guy. And then you just go back to the script.
Yeah, basically. So that was the risk. And that happened. Could not improvise. It was just like, haha, I think I spoke in English or whatever. It's like, this guy. This
guy with the fucking Dutch.
I know. Anyway, back to Dutch. But they liked my tape enough, or my audition enough, that they hired me as a comedian.
From your first time doing Dutch stand-up, and there was a heckler in Dutch.
Right. And they saw, because my tape I sent them was in English. They're like, but if you want a career in Holland, you have to do it in Dutch. And so they saw that I could handle myself on stage.
Wow.
But this is why I became a physical comedian in Holland, because I sucked at the language. So physical comedy was what saved me to not have to do everything with words.
What is happening? I love every story. What is this?
I don't know.
Like
this is
epic.
A dream.
This is an epic
this is
movie.
Just a dream.
I see you with a bindle on a stick, and it's like, and there's an accordion playing, and it's just like, so of course, physical comedy was my way to a free dinner. And you're up on stage. And everyone's like, this guy. They probably laugh a little different. Like a Tintin comic. Why do they laugh? And then you started making enough for room and board. I'm assuming in a 1-bedroom apartment above the theater.
Right. Exactly.
Where were you?
As the Phantom of the Opera. I was a kid in college. I was just in college, just staying on campus. But it was amazing that I got paid. Like this was the first time I got paid as a comedian, like $50 or 50 euros at the time, to do a 15-minute set. Like in Holland, that was a lot of money for me, like as a student.
Yeah. And did
so,
you do well?
So basically, a year of doing Dutch comedy, and then I'm so ambitious that I'm going to take part in the biggest national comedy competition in Holland called the Leids Cabaret Festival. And I'm going to participate, and I'm going to win. And I went...
Excuse me while I Krasinski.
Zoom in. Slow zoom.
That's when we curb.
Yeah,
You decide.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
You sign up for Le Cabaret.
The Leids Cabaret Festival,
Leids
biggest
Cabaret.
national comedy competition in Holland. And you got guys on pianos, you got, the ladies dancing, you got stand-up comedians, and then you have me, the physical comedian, who's learning to speak better Dutch, but want to tell my story, being half African, half European, whatever. This didn't just come about by accident, okay? I was in Africa. I went back home to Africa for a little bit, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? I want to win this competition so I can launch my career, so I can eventually go to America. This was always my goal. So
on a steamboat.
On a steamboat with my satchel. I need to meet Steven Spielberg so I can tell him about Sean and about Quentin. Ask him why he hired Quentin Tarantino.
You have to pack all 9 CDs because you think that'll mean something to him.
Steven! He's like, Steven! He's like, what is this?
Oh. Seeing as none of us know it, he probably would have been thrilled.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Go on.
So, I'm in Kenya. I'm volunteering, doing some volunteer work in this village where there's no power, no electricity, whatever. So I have a lot of time to think. I have a lot of time to muse and ruse. And I'm like, I'm going to win this competition. I plan out my 5 years of life.
So just to be clear,
yes,
you're writing jokes by candlelight at this point?
Absolutely. In my hut by candlelight.
But no joke.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like you were yes-anding.
No.
Like, yeah,
no.
it's that but it was.
It
no
was,
electricity.
It was no power.
Candle out.
No water.
While you're training.
Yes.
To get ready.
Yeah.
For the biggest
right.
comedy town in Holland.
Right.
So that you can get a steamboat to America.
Steamboat and meet
with
Steven Spielberg.
9 DVDs to meet Steven Spielberg.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What is this?
This is the plan. This is how I'm going to get it.
An American Tale? This is incredible.
I'm Fido or whatever his name is.
Fievel.
I was close.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, go back to Holland after my time in this village. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. I audition for the competition. I'm hired. It's like they choose 8 comedians and we compete. We go from the first round to the quarterfinal, semifinal, final. And I win both the jury and the audience prize. And it was the first time in history that 90% of the audience had voted for the winner. And the first time in history that the jury had no criticisms of the winner. And so I won and launched my career that way. To be the physical comedian in Holland, have a couple of shows, comedy specials. Time to move to America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every question. But here's the best one. What was your act like that you won with?
I used a djembe. You know a drum, the African drum? It's a djembe. I
think so.
It's like a goat skin drum, and you can bang it. Like a lot of hippies in Venice Beach will.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Yeah, drum circles.
Yeah.
So I used...
What's the bass look like? Like a lady?
Yeah, like a time... How do you say that?
The hourglass.
Yeah, the hourglass.
Not a lady.
Not
an hourglass. Some ladies. I know some ladies that are more a glow stick. Some are glow sticks.
Angular ladies.
I know a hacky sack that lives in Venice. We dated for 6 months. Just the weirdest guy that has to tell people what their body looked like.
All right.
Sack. I did a snare drum in college. On its side, or
it's like
gentleman never tells.
You got it. One got to keep his secrets.
You dated a chode.
I
did. What you're saying, like a small, thick chode, like a can of tuna. Go on.
So play my djembe, and the djembe is a symbol for me because the djembe has to be the right temperature. It can't be too hot, too cold. It can't be too much in the sun, too much in the dark. It has to be right in the middle, and that was a symbol for my story. Can't be. I'm half African, half European, half white, half black, half rich, half poor, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And the only way I can have harmony is by embracing both. and choosing the middle because I can't choose one over the other. So
That's
that was the story.
Simon Cowell.
Damn it! Golden buzzer.
Before you've even done it.
I know.
And that's me. I'm the drum.
I'm the djembe.
Randy Jackson. It's not even that show.
Glitter falls down. Audience.
So you did this act every time?
Every round.
Every round. Same
But
act.
I would add something new, a new joke each round, just to keep it fresh for the judges because they'd watch every round. And
So they watched it like 5 times?
they watched it 4 or 5 times, yeah.
And then the last time there's the audience
Yeah.
that votes as well.
Yes.
But they haven't seen it.
They haven't seen it, no.
So you're slow leaking it out, adding a little bit more?
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah, and I saved one of my best jokes for last because I was so convinced I was going to make the final. You know, the power of the law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, just
Sure.
like boom. And thank God I made it to the final. Otherwise, I would not have had this joke.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you had met me at that time, you'd be like, and I'm going to say my last joke for the final. I'd
Yeah.
be like, kid, do the best joke on the first show.
Right.
Nothing is guaranteed.
Right.
I have an iPad. But you know it's for look. Like,
It's not even like you can see out of both eyes.
yeah, the bill comes and I open it. So
Yeah.
you saved the best joke. What was the best joke?
I do a song at the end of my show with the djembe. I get the audience to sing together. We all sing, we all sing, we all sing. I'm like, repeat after me, whatever. And so it's call and response. And we sing. I'm like, thank you, thank you. And with that song, you all just agreed to adopt an Ethiopian child or whatever it was. And then like everyone's like, ha, 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 you got us. And then that was the joke.
Yes.
So saved it for last, like a big
You
ha-ha
all
finale.
just adopted an Ethiopian.
Yeah.
One guy who thinks it's dead serious. He's like, I can't have this happening right now.
No!
I care about your people, but I'm in a tight spot. He doesn't see the joke
He's
at all.
like, no, he doesn't understand.
So it was a single. It was a sing song.
Yeah.
In Dutch.
In Dutch.
With
My
drum,
djembe drum.
djembe,
Yeah.
and with jokes
With the
added each
punchline
week.
at the end. Yeah.
And they loved it. Standing O.
Uh,
Do they do that?
Dutch people do standing O's. This is the weird thing about Dutch crowds. Have you ever performed in Holland?
No.
Okay. Let me prepare you for if ever you perform in Holland. They will not laugh out loud fully. They're very
Booking my ticket.
they're very reserved people. And so I've done a bunch of shows. Like I had 3 comedy specials in Holland. I would tour. The latest one I did was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. It was all about being positive, okay? I'm touring around Holland. I'm doing this joke, about this whole show about being positive and all this, not giving up. They do not laugh for 80 minutes, not one single laugh. And I'm there like I should stop the show. I'm offending people, but the show is about not giving up, so I cannot stop performing the show because it's about not giving up, so I have to continue the show. So for 80 minutes, I'm doing my show, basically monologuing, not hearing a response. I end the show, lights go off, standing ovation. And I'm confused. And I go backstage. I'm like, what just happened? They're like, they loved it. It was amazing. I go to the cafe after to meet some people from the audience, shake hands. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, why didn't you laugh? And this is a Dutch crowd. We didn't want to interrupt you. And that's the Dutch crowd. They respect the art form so much.
They don't want to
They
miss
want
anything.
to listen to every single thing you say.
Someone's like, ha ha, shut up.
Shut up! Yeah, so my wife was in the audience, and she's American, and she's used to, the loud laugh. And she would get glares from the Dutch crowds, just like, shh, he's speaking.
Okay, I hate it for comedy, but I love it for literally everything else.
Right. So this is just to prepare you for if ever you go, they are listening to you, they love you, and you'll
Are
know
they
at the
that
end.
way in other ways? Is the culture very sound sensitive? Kind of like, this is a hotel. Close your door if you're going to brush your teeth.
Right. No running water after 11 p.m.
Yeah. You realize those pipes go all around the building, right? You brush your teeth, I brush my teeth.
Right.
And it's 9:30 p.m.
7-minute showers now. 7-minute showers.
Yeah, that's right.
No, so they're very like the first time I moved to Holland, I was shocked because I was raised in Africa where you greet strangers on the street like, "Hey, how's it going? Good. How are you? Hey, or salam alaikum, walaikum salam, or whatever it is." I was walking down the street in Holland. A man was walking toward me. I go, "Good morning," and he looks at me, chooses not to respond, and keeps walking. And that's the first time I was like, Dutch people, they don't have the African heart. And that's exactly like...
Who has stolen the African heart
Yeah.
from Holland?
Right.
Why?
So it's just they can be cold. They can be direct. They can be cold.
But it's from a place of just coldness.
Yeah. It's cold most of the year there anyway. But it's also just like,
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know you. Why would I say hi to you? It doesn't make sense.
Is it you're dangerous?
Maybe this was right around 9/11. Don't go up to somebody, say salam alaikum. And I'm kidding. I didn't say salam alaikum. I was just like, good morning. And he was like, and walked on.
Whoa.
Yeah. But Dutch people are very direct and honest as well. So they will not hide their true feelings from you. I was on a bus once and there was this big African dude. We were on the bus from Paris to Amsterdam. It's like the Euroline bus. We're on this big bus, this big African dude. And he's wearing a wife beater. And I'm sorry to say he had terrible BO coming from his armpits, right? And all of the bus, the rest of us, were sitting there like, we're just going to take it for whatever the 8 hours ride that it was. We're just going to take it.
You're on the B&O Railroad.
Yes. The one Dutch guy on the bus walks up to the guy and goes, with a bottle of deodorant, "Excuse me, could you please use this because it doesn't smell very nice?" And I prayed for him so hard in that moment because I'm like, you're a dead man. You are because
you embarrassed this guy.
You embarrassed this guy. The guy just glared at him, and the Dutch guy walked back to his seat. But then the guy did put down his arm and put it down. So the Dutch man saved us for the rest of the bus ride by being super honest. But I was terrified for him in that moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've told this story before, but when I worked at Bennigan's, 150 South Michigan in Chicago, there was a guy, and everybody felt terrible in this situation, but there was an unhoused guy. He came in the restaurant, he sat down at a table, and like literally everybody like left. Like it was a real bad smell situation. And Gary, this manager, Gary had the energy of like a black preacher. He was so charismatic. He was good looking. He dressed fantastic. I just loved Gary. We all loved Gary, and he was no nonsense. And we were like, Gary, we don't know what to do. He was like this guy was in my section. I'm like, I don't know what to do, but there's a guy, and it's a situation.
Yeah.
Gary goes up to him, squatted down, like looked him right in the eye, like, you know, man to man, face to face,
Sure.
I guess you should say. Didn't like,
No,
he went into the
zone.
The zone. He was in the zone.
In the green zone.
And he said, "Sir, I need to ask you to leave." And then he said, and the guy was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because you do not smell fresh." And I thought I was like,
Okay.
Gary, how long
Yeah.
did it take you to come up with that?
Right.
Because you smell bad is like what most
people would say, because you stink.
But he goes, "You do not smell fresh." It's
Right.
not that you stink.
No.
It's you don't smell fresh.
Right.
Trey Dutch.
Which is a nice touch. It is very like,
Although a Dutch might just be like,
yeah. You stink,
stink.
please leave the building. You
this
stink.
is a restaurant, you
Yeah,
stink.
you stink. We cannot eat. You stink. Please leave the building. Yes, very
Wow.
direct.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you were then, after you won this competition,
Right.
you said you had 3 Dutch stand-up specials?
Yeah, 3 Dutch specials, toured around Holland, toured around the world. And by then I had enough credits to apply for my visa to move to America. Because I applied for this visa.
What was that time like? Were you a superstar?
I was on the Dutch version of The Daily Show as a correspondent. I had a movie. I was the up-and-coming physical African comedian who is positive, upbeat, energetic, and entertaining. So people loved my jokes, loved my shows, loved my thing. Wow. And so there was a lot of success. There was a lot of money, but I wanted to move to America. That was the goal the whole time.
I hear you. Mm-hmm. Was it tempting to stay? You're like, hey,
absolutely.
I'm having like look, I don't want to perpetuate the idea that only America fame is true fame.
No.
But you had a calling.
Yeah.
Like Fievel.
Right. I had my DVDs.
Go West.
That I had to deliver.
And you had a DVD that you needed signed. And you're on the Dutch Daily Show.
Right.
And did that feel like I imagine it felt, where it was like so close to what you really wanted?
Yeah.
There's like
but
a John
in a fourth
Stewart,
language.
Yeah.
But in a language I was like struggling to understand.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And then you do segments.
Yeah.
And your Dutch must be getting pretty good at this
It was
point.
getting better and better and better for sure. The shows were in Dutch. Everything was in Dutch.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wanted to perform in English because I felt so restricted in Dutch.
Of course.
I had to memorize everything.
Wow.
But I got better at improv here and there, but I had to memorize everything because I could not.
What was your improv line? Like, was there something that you had
This
to learn?
guy!
Was there something? Because if I was doing that gig, I would have to be like some save line.
Right.
Did you have anything in Dutch that you knew how to say? If there wasn't anything to say?
No, it was just use the physical comedy, and just be like, or whatever,
Wow.
So yeah, it was very much memorized, but I felt so restricted. I was like, I knew I needed to move to America where I could do it in English.
Okay.
And also to the bigger market where I could have more positive impact on, this whole thing
Like
back
your
to
dad said.
8 years old.
This is a movie. Your life is a movie. We're going to see like your translucent dad being like, use your privilege.
You remember your privilege.
Remember, but he's evil for some reason. Remember your privilege and use it to help. And you're like, all right.
I was like, why do you have a British accent, Dad?
Enjoy the Steven Spielberg game.
Say hi to Stephen for me.
And if you see her,
do
tell
not
me.
tell me. It's raining.
This episode is also brought to us by our friends at Ritual, the makers of the best multivitamin and pre, post, and probiotic. A probiotic, basically, but 3 different kinds called Synbiotic Plus. I take both of these every morning. I take their Daily for Men, and I take their Synbiotic Plus every single day. It's got a minty aftertaste, which I love. And the main thing that people have against multivitamins is that you just pee them out, that you don't absorb them. Ritual has a delayed release capsule, which means it breaks down in your lower intestine, which means it actually gets into your body to fill those gaps in your diet. I used to have all sorts of problems when I got my blood work done at my yearly physical. Ritual has seriously helped with all of that. And according to the CDC, fewer men than women meet the minimal daily intake recommendations for fruits and vegetables. So guys, you gotta get the daily once from men into your life. You're more likely to overvalue exercise and undervalue nutrition. So stop it. Enter Ritual multivitamin, scientifically developed for men to fill those gaps in your diet. I love starting my day with Ritual. It gets me ready to start my day. Makes me feel good that I know that I'm covering 10 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules per day that dissolve, as I said, in the small intestine. It's gentle on an empty stomach, which means you can take it while you're fasting and it won't upset your belly. So Essential for Men is a quality multivitamin from a company you can trust. You can trace all of the nutrients in there, which is incredible. They're incredibly transparent. Just a wonderful company, top to bottom, making a wonderful product. So do your body a favor and support the show as well. Get 25% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/weird. Start Ritual or add Essential for Men or try Synbiotic Plus as well to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/weird for 25% off. And almost every episode is brought to us by our friends at Modern Mammals. I'll make this real quick, guys. You know I'm obsessed with Modern Mammals. It's the only shampoo that cleans your hair but doesn't strip it of all the natural oils that you need to have it look good and keep it in control. When I use shampoo, it looks like a bale of hay you just took out of the dryer. It looks terrible. I used to not wash it. That was my strategy. Now my strategy, use Modern Mammals. Keeps it clean, keeps it wonderful to touch, wonderful to feel, smelling great, and looking like you didn't wash it, frankly, which has always been my style. Now I just use Modern Mammals. It's an absolute game changer. Get it, modernmammals.com. Use promo code WEIRD. You can try both the bar and the bottle for $44, and they last a really, really long time. So go to modernmammals.com. Use promo code WEIRD at checkout. All right, everybody, back to the show. Okay, so you have enough points on your visa. I'm going to pretend to know what that means.
No.
You get the red, white, and blue light, and you get to come to America.
Yeah, basically, I'm allowed to America because I'm considered now an alien of extraordinary ability.
Is that what it is?
That's the visa. You're an alien of extraordinary ability. You are able to prove that you're extraordinary in the field that you're in. I was extraordinary in my field of comedian and actor because I achieved all these things in America. There's 10 criteria to qualify as an alien of extraordinary ability. You have to prove that you're a celebrity. You have to prove that you are outstanding in your field, that you make more money than others in your field, that celebrities endorse you. You have to come up with recommendation letters by celebrities who write for you, about you, how great you are, how 1 in a million you are. You have to sound extraordinary. And then the immigration officer goes, okay. And then, welcome to America.
Like getting quotes for the back of a book, but
Yeah.
you're the book.
You're the book. And some of these letters I've had to write by myself because the others did not feel comfortable. They're Dutch. They're like, I don't feel comfortable praising you. Do you mind?
So you wrote it.
Do you mind writing it for
So it's
me?
exactly like getting quotes for the back of your book.
Yeah. That's how it works. Do you
course.
mind if I say my book is amazing? They're
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've known people that wrote forwards, but that means that someone that works for them wrote it, they read it.
Right, and they
change
go,
it.
okay, I'll put my name underneath
exactly.
it. So I had to
Some
do it
people
that
just
way.
be too busy. That's fine.
I mean, that's why. And I understand that. Or some people don't feel comfortable.
So Robbie
praising
Williams
you.
writes you a letter.
I know. So I get a letter of recommendation by all these people.
Yeah, Mr. Bean.
Yeah, Mr. Bean writes one.
It's just silent. It's just drawings.
It's just a drawing of a teddy
Wow.
bear.
Okay.
Um,
So you do know him. Okay.
So-
who did it for you? Who
Dutch
stamped your passport?
actors,
Yeah.
Dutch directors,
Daily Show
TV
guys?
producers, Daily Show guys, network executives, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I had enough material to qualify for this visa to come to America. So finally, Pete, after I don't know how long, like I was in Holland for about 10 years of just trying to get this to come to America. So I'm finally in America with this visa. I'm ready to get my career started. And I find out that networks don't take actors on the O1 visa. They take actors on the green card only. And this happened because I researched you. I know you. You wrote for this TV show called Outsourced, correct?
Yep. That was my first big break.
Really?
It got me to LA. Yeah, I would consider that my first big break.
Okay. So I know Rizwan Manji was on it and Parvesh China and all
Yeah,
this kind of stuff.
yeah.
This was my first big audition when I moved to LA.
For outsourced?
Outsourced.
Get the fuck.
Yeah. And
I was probably you were in my office.
well, I was on the Universal lot, the back lot. It was Shani Gisberg, the casting director.
Okay, this wasn't because sometimes we would have the actors
Right.
hanging out in the writers' studio, but that must have been for because this was on Radford,
Right.
CBS Radford.
No, this was like the back lot. No, this was the back lot of Universal.
Okay,
Yeah.
you would know from
Yeah.
your video game.
From my video game. I recognized it.
You also requested it. They were like,
Yeah,
"It's
so-
CBS Radford," and you're
It
like,
was
"No.
Could I please have Universal? Do you know who I am? I'm an alien of extraordinary ability. So
According to Jon Stewart,
Jan Stewart.
Jon Stewart wrote a
Jon Stewart.
handwritten recommendation.
With his signature. The audition was an Indian man who was dressed like a woman, basically in drag. It was for one of the episodes where this Indian man is dressed as a woman, co-star role. And so I wore drag as an Indian guy because I was cast as an Indian guy a lot before they actually realized I was African. I show up to the office in drag. I do the audition. The casting directors love me, want to book me, ask me, do you have a green card? I'm like, no, I have the O1 visa. I worked really hard for it, and here's my paperwork, da-da-da. Like, I'm sorry, we only take actors on the green card. We don't take O1 visa. Why? It's a valid visa because it's temporary. It's only for 3 years, and God knows if you get picked up again or whatever on the show, there's no guarantee you'll be in America, blah, blah, blah. So only green card. So
So they won't book you.
they won't book me.
In case the Indian guy in women's clothing is a
Comes
season
back.
regular.
Comes back in
For
season
4.
4. Right.
What if
Right.
this guy
Right.
is in season 4?
Right.
And then the fans are like,
The
you
fans
can
like-
recast Aunt Viv.
No, yeah.
You can recast Katie Holmes in Batman Begins.
Right.
You can't
You
recast
cannot replace this.
Man
dude.
in Drag from season 1.
Literally.
That is the
they even have a character
stupidest
name. Yeah.
Bureaucratic
Right.
bullshit.
Right.
I'm fucking livid.
So you come here after all this hard work, and for 3 years you can't book network TV because networks don't take actors on the O1 visa, only on the green card. So for 3 years I cannot book work on TV. So I do stand-up comedy here instead. Gather enough evidence again to apply for my green card for Aliens of Extraordinary Ability, which I finally do get. And now finally I can audition for TV and all this kind of stuff.
Is that the same thing? You had to get people to
Oh,
be
I had
like,
to get letters from like celebrities, executives, producers that
In
make me
America.
sound in America. So, for
Who helped
example,
you there?
Terry Rossio, he's an amazing guy. He wrote Pirates of the Caribbean. He's like
Oh,
he wrote Shrek and all this kind of stuff. Did a short film with him, and I asked him, "Hey Terry, do you mind writing a letter for me?" He's like, "You write it. I'm too busy writing Pirates of the Caribbean 616. You write it. I'll sign off."
Whoa.
And that was massive, like a huge help. And just Yeah. So again, in those 3 years, you have to gather all this evidence to stand out in your field as a comedian, as an actor, prove you're extraordinary so you can qualify for the green card to stay in America permanently as an alien of extraordinary ability.
Wow.
So yeah, it was an exhausting journey because you come to America after this exhausting journey. You're like, finally my career can start. And no, you're like 2 steps back. You have to start again, gathering all this evidence that you're extraordinary, doing all these things. So I'm tired, Pete. And I just got my green card like a couple of years ago. I can finally start doing what I came here to do. My DVD box is still ready to be delivered and signed. And it's been 20 years since that day where I was like, I'm coming to America. I'm going to do this thing. And finally now I can start getting things going.
I mean, we have a choice, don't we? There's 2 ways to look at it. I think we know we've made our choice. We could be like, God damn, there's all this stuff we could have been doing.
Right.
Or you could just be like, and off we go.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It is a little frustrating.
I mean, it was tempting to go back to Holland and be like, I had an amazing life there. Like, why not? And it's like, no, I'm here. I need that signature.
You had
I need Steven to sign my DVD set.
You had the Dutch Night of the Soul, that's called. When you're like, I shouldn't have left Holland.
Right. Shouldn't have left Holland. Shouldn't have gone.
But you stuck with it. And then what was your first big thing with your green card?
A
What if you got a
show.
green card and then it was just like, and then you booked nothing?
And then you just
like,
nothing.
But I
You
can.
step-
And they're like,
you're like,
oh, you could.
Oh, you could, but you have to become a citizen now.
Oh, I meant they were like, we just don't like you.
We just didn't like
Yeah.
it to start off
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
A network show called Sunnyside, NBC, series regular. I'd gone from doing background work to getting a pilot audition. Alison Jones, amazing casting director.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know her. I was a huge fan of her work. Met her in the office. She was lovely. She basically rooted for me. Got
Well,
me.
you just had a general with her or something?
No, it was an audition for this. They were looking for a very specific kind of role. It was
Yeah.
a Somalian cab driver.
Yeah.
And then I walked in. I'm saying I did not grow up in Somalia. I grew up in Ethiopia, which is right next door. So I can do that. They're like, yes, and they changed the character.
And they're like,
too.
yeah, we all knew it was right next door. You didn't have to say that.
We already.
Somalia and Ethiopia have been hugging for centuries. They're snuggle buds.
Yeah, I know.
They're Netflix and chillin'. Everyone knows Somalia is right next to Ethiopia. And north of Lake Victoria?
Right.
Of course.
Of course. You know.
And not near Egypt,
No.
that kind of different
That's
African
yeah,
country, and pretty far from the weird southern
Right,
one.
the
Madagascar's where Chris Rock is a zebra, or whatever. Like, Americans describing Africa.
Geography, like by cartoons and all this.
We know
other references.
Egypt, we know South Africa,
You know Madagascar.
and we know Madagascar.
And Morocco for some reason.
Morocco.
Everyone knows Morocco.
Casablanca?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why.
Keep hitting it. So Alison Jones.
Alison Jones,
gets
amazing.
you to be a
roots
cab
me, puts
driver.
me in front of Mike Schur, who's an exec on this, and he's done The Office. He's done all these other things. Boom. I get cast as a series regular. They change his character to Ethiopian. And lo and behold, I'm the first Ethiopian character at a network American TV show as a series regular.
Wow.
So that changed my life. And that basically was like, oh, I got my green card. I'm on a network show doing this. Series regular, let's go. It's with Cal Penn. It's called Sunnyside. It's about immigrants trying to get their green card and become citizens in America. So it's like perfect, like, down my lane.
I'm glad because there was part of, coming up with Kumail. I remember Kumail was like, I don't want to speak for Kumail, but I remember there being discussions of like, the only roles out there are like things like cab driver, things like in a bad way.
Right.
This wasn't in a bad
This wasn't
way.
that
This
at
was
all.
a real way.
He wasn't
Like a true,
stereotypical.
like a real story,
real
not
story.
just.
No. No.
Isn't it funny that I'm a stereotype?
Yeah. No. It was like an actual immigrant trying to get his green. Very positive, very everything. So it was very.
It was you.
It was me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
perfect how that came together on the Universal Studios lot.
Get the fuck out of here! What
Never
is
ran into
this?
Spielberg, but that's where I was like, I'm here. This is where I shot Quentin Tarantino kissing Jennifer Aniston as Penn and Teller were getting arrested by the police for.
They just immediately give you a shot of some sedative and put you in an ambulance.
Like, I'm just there. I swear to
This is
God.
what I was 8 years old. I directed Quentin Tarantino. We made a mistake.
I know this guy is
He's
not.
Somalian again. Open up the auditions.
I know. Let's go, Allison. Bring us the Somalian. So yeah.
Unbelievable.
Right?
I'm going to be in a good mood the rest of the day because of this story.
Full story, full circle. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from Sunnyside, which
Sunnyside
doesn't sound like it went more than
Didn't
one.
do really well. After 3 episodes,
Pulled?
because we had an ice episode in episode 3.
And I
One of
don't
our-
mean cold water, guys.
No, one of our friends gets arrested, wants to be deported. We go to the ICE office to get him out. We make fun of ICE. And our show was just before Law and Order. And Dick Wolf, who's a very powerful man, has done incredible shows for NBC, did not like our show being before his show. And so instead of rescheduling us, I think NBC panicked and they're like, we're going to put you online on NBC.com, which wasn't a thing. They didn't have Peacock. NBC.com. So our episodes would air on this website. And they pulled us after 3 episodes. We were shooting episode 7 by then, we found out. But they're like, no, we'll give you an extra episode so you get 11 episodes instead of 10 to show that we have goodwill toward you, which was nice. We got an extra episode. But they were all online. Nobody was seeing them anyway. So that was my first experience with network TV, being pulled after 3 and kind of being like, okay, this is just the politics of how it works. But, we're still going to do the show. I'm still going to finish this run, 11 episodes. I'm still going to give it my all. And it'll open more opportunities. And after that run, it did. COVID hit right after. And so everything was down for a year or 2. But then a year later, I get an audition again with Alison Jones for this pirate show, Our Flag Means Death. And again, a character that was from my region, Mauritania. I made him Mauritanian, and then boom, that went for 2 seasons.
In a riff.
And then
You
referee.
keep riffing. You're coming all the way from Mauritania.
Yeah.
They're like, stop saying that.
In Mauritania...
No one knows it. Taika is like, if you say that.
I know, if you speak of Mauritania one more time. Yeah.
Well, that's incredible.
Yeah.
How'd that audition process go?
That was amazing. So basically, I found out about Our Flag Means Death in the summertime. I got the script from a friend, and she was like, this is perfect for you, Samba. I found out Alison Jones was casting it. I reached out to my team. I'm like, please tell Alison I would love to audition for this. I see a character that I'm going to be perfect for. 6 months go by, no news. I check in again. They're like, oh, Samba, all the roles have been cast. It's over. Wah, wah, I'm sad. 6 months go by. I'm living my life, doing my thing, whatever. Audition comes up on a Saturday. Our Flag Means Death. One character, he's the cook and the doctor, and his name's Roach, and so we need this by tomorrow. 5 scenes.
Wait, you got it one day?
One day to do 5 scenes. On a Saturday, do Sunday. Quick casting. Quick turnaround.
Besides have a plane ticket stapled to them?
I know.
But it just says your name here.
It's just like,
Just bring
in
this.
case.
Just bring it.
Just in case. So now I'm like, perfect. This is what I wanted. Let's do it. I do the audition, create the character as myself.
Who'd
Because
you prep it with?
my wife. She reads with
wife.
me. My wife. She reads with me. She reads every audition with me.
Cute.
Yeah. And so we're in our little studio apartment, and then I dress up as the pirate, and I'm making him my own because they don't give any character description. Just like he's the cook, he's the medic, he's kind of like seen everything. So I make him tough guy, and I make him from Mauritania. And in my slate, I say I'm choosing to make him from Mauritania because back then you had the Berber pirates, and let's just make this guy Berber because he moved to America, to the Caribbean.
You said this in the slate?
In the slate. It's like a 3-minute slate.
Did your wife have to use a wide lens for your balls?
I know.
Yikes.
It was Alison Jones, so I was like,
No, I know, but still-
I knew I was in good hands.
It's a brave move. I'm trying to just compliment.
Right.
Most people are going in scared.
Right.
You're like, hi, I'll tell you my name, but first,
let me tell you about this character.
and this is my height.
This is what I'm gonna.
You go off a Wikipedia entry on Mauritania
Right.
pirates, and then you go, and I'm 6'3".
And I'm 6'2".
Hi, I was close.
Right.
And you're like, and I'm not doing a side.
No.
It makes me feel like I'm in prison. Here we go.
Yeah.
And then
There
you
we go.
did it.
Yeah.
All 5.
And all 5 scenes, and then 5 days later, I book it, and boom, I'm part of this show for two amazing seasons, and it's changed my life.
Is it doing a third?
Unfortunately, no. Didn't get picked up by Max.
Pourquoi?
Because
It didn't get picked up?
No, I mean for a 3rd season because no money. They don't have money. It's an expensive show to make.
Yeah.
We're filming in New Zealand. It's got a pirate ship, one of those green screens.
Yeah.
Lots of actors,
Pricey
big
show.
ensemble, pricey show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But amazing following. The fans are like amazing. We have a great following, and it's opened many doors for me. Legions. Fan arts, everything, like the whole thing. Like I've never experienced it in my life. And so, yeah, it's been a good 2 years. The day I found out the show was canceled was the day my son was being born.
How do we feel about this?
It was a very weird day. My wife is in labor. We're in the hospital, Pete. I get the text. We're not going for a 3rd season, guys. Max chose not to go for a 3rd season, unfortunately. And I did not plan on starting fatherhood unemployed. Like, I did not plan on starting fatherhood with
Personal
all this.
question: had you just bought a house or anything? Did
We
you
just
do
moved
any-
to a bigger apartment because we were in the studio for like 12 years.
So you did kind of like a season 2 move.
Yeah, we're like, okay, we're gonna move to a 2-bedroom, have a bit more space
2
for the
seasons,
child.
2 bedrooms.
Yeah, third season, we buy a house. I'm kidding. Just moved to the new apartment and everything like that, and then I get the text, and it was weird because on one end you're getting all these text messages that the show is over. I'm so sorry. Death, grief, desperation. I'm so darkness, and on the other hand, your son is being born. Yeah. New life is coming to this world. Hope, light. So it was a very weird dance by the universe.
Very lightning crashes.
Right.
An old TV show dies. Do you know the song?
No.
It's a live song where an old woman dies while a baby's being born.
Oh.
Yeah. How old are you?
40.
All right.
Yeah.
You got a pass.
Yeah. Is that
45, so I think
Right.
maybe that was
That's
when
when
Lightning
age-
Crashes was hot.
Was it hot here in America? Was it hot in
Also,
Ethiopia?
yeah. I remember being when I was in Uganda and they were listening to the Men in Black soundtrack, and I was like, "Really?
Yeah.
There's some
Oh,
things
that
that,
was
are
huge.
international.
Yeah.
but that's real hit.
No, Men in Black was like
Huge.
massive.
I remember.
Yeah.
but not
No, whatever
live.
you just said.
Live is no Men in Black. Sorry, live.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You're not Uganda good.
No, you're not Uganda famous.
You're not Uganda famous.
So it got canceled
Yeah.
as your son is being born.
Same day.
And did you find a way to mourn the show at some point?
It's hard because you can't be in a space of mourning
Yeah, of
while
course.
this new life is
I meant
coming.
later. You
Yeah.
had to like hit pause on it.
Right.
But did you?
You can't hit pause when you're with a new baby.
Yeah.
Either. You don't have time to process.
Would you like
you
to
just
do it
launched
now?
it. Can we?
Yeah, it does suck.
Yeah.
Because it sucks.
Yeah.
That was like a hit
Yeah.
cult.
Yeah.
Not just like cult isn't a way of saying not a hit. I mean like fervent
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
Great dream people, Reese.
Amazing. Yeah. Reese,
Taika.
Taika, like the whole bunch of the
Hot.
cast and crew. Yeah.
And like something that you built from the ground up that worked.
yeah.
But I'm not just saying this, and I wouldn't just say this to anybody. Come on, Samba. Come on. I'm sitting here going like, what do I got for Samba? Like, how do I get involved with this guy? Because you're clearly just going to go on to something great.
Thank you,
and
man.
wonderful. If you haven't already.
I mean, some things are,
Kicking around.
Kicking around. And I'm excited for what's next, you know.
This story
something
could
about
be it too.
not just this whole
Very
thing.
interesting.
I mean, when you get a baby, you get motivated to do, to get life going. You can't just sit around anymore.
That's when I met you, right? When your baby was
Yeah, we were at the Largo, and that's
Yeah.
where we met. And you told me, I was like, how's it to be a dad? Because you're telling me you're a dad, and you said, imagine the first couple of months as if you're camping.
Yeah. That's what Rich Blomquist told me, Kristen
Right.
Shaw's husband.
Right.
Did that help?
We're still camping, but when does the camping trip end, Pete? Because I haven't slept in 3 months, Pete, and
Dude.
I'm only half white. I can only enjoy camping so much
That is so funny.
before
Yeah.
I don't want to camp anymore.
Yeah. There's a fine line between camping
Yeah.
and just not having a place to live. Dude, if there's any comfort in this, parenting is so much harder than anyone knows.
Yeah.
And people say this.
Right.
It's
You
like a
hear
weird
it.
movie.
You hear it, but
You
you're
hear
like,
people
okay,
saying
we'll see it when it happens.
And then it happens, and you're like, oh my God. And every kid is different. How
Right.
old is your son?
He's gonna turn 3 months in a couple of weeks.
You just said I haven't slept in 3 months.
Yeah.
You're
And
going to be fine. It's going to get better real soon.
so everyone says that, right?
Yeah.
They go the first 3 days, get through the first 3 days.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then go the first 3 weeks, just get through the first 3 weeks. Gonna
Yeah,
be easy.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you say the first 3 months, go through the first 3 months. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
The first 3 years, they go get through the first 3 years, and then it's gonna be okay. And then they go, and I'm like, I swear to God, if you say the first 30 years, I'm gonna kill you.
I will say they do keep moving the goalposts because that's
Right.
the only strategy.
Right.
People go terrible twos.
Right.
And you're like, oh, it's just the terrible twos.
Right.
And then it's the threes, and they go three-nager. And you're like, I'm sorry, how many cute fucking...
With
how
every
many
number,
cute names do you have?
every
Four?
freaking number.
Forzilla.
Forzilla.
Sorry. 5, barely alive. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And we've noticed that it's one of those insane things. I'm not trying to be sappy. It only makes sense to your heart. It's not. I'm not trying to be cute.
Right.
Your head will never go.
No.
This is working.
Right.
You'll always just go like, we're getting rocked.
Yeah.
We're getting rocked for longer than we thought we would.
Right.
And the only comfort, and not to make it sound like it's this huge tragedy or anything, but the comfort is just solidarity. It's just people being like, us too. Yeah, it's rough. And it's rougher, and it's not what it looks. It's not what it is in movies.
Right.
It's not what it is in TV. No one would want to see that.
No.
In fact, there have been a couple shows that I think tried to do like real parenting.
Right.
And parents don't want to watch it.
No.
Because it's 9:00, you get 1 hour.
Right.
What do you want to watch someone else?
You want to watch a special? You want to watch someone else suffer with kids? No.
Why would you? And then single people don't want to watch it.
No.
So that's like a really tricky demographic. So it's really just us.
Yeah.
And I'll put this back to you: is have you noticed just like in the way that we're all so isolated, raising kids is sort of one of the worst things about that. Meaning the whole it takes a village.
Right.
Like you see. It's us, it's you and your partner and your kid, and you're like, we need 5 more people.
Right. Yeah.
You just do.
Yeah.
And what fucking sucks is we have that resource.
Right.
I'm going to put this all back to you.
Yeah.
We have a deep bench of grannies and grumpies and fucking cousins, and that, but we're all so separated. This isn't new territory.
No.
But like we've spread it out like a weird... Like somebody in a village would have a vision, like a Spirit Quest vision, and be like, there's a horrible future where we all spread away. Look, I personally am happy to have some distance between me and my family, okay? But there's times when you're like...
You do need the hands.
You need it.
Yeah.
And with my friend group, we're really like deliberately as a group being like, we need drop-off energy. We need bring your kid over.
Yeah.
We need tap-out energy.
Right.
Without it, I just don't know how this thing works.
No, it's hard and it's tricky. I mean, and then, on my end, my whole family is like on the other side of the world, right? I'm here by myself. So it's really my wife's family that has had to step in from time to time and help out.
Yeah. By the way, same.
Yeah.
Not for the same reason, but like just for one reason or another, it was more my wife's family.
Right.
They're out here.
Right. Yeah, so it's easier.
But
at the same time, the tricky thing with America is everyone has to work to survive. So everyone is so busy with their own lives that it's hard to create a village. You have to really make an effort to like, can you come this weekend? Can you drop off this soup? Can you? Yeah. Otherwise, everyone is just so busy trying to survive.
Yeah.
Whereas in Africa, it's like people are around. There's a house is full of people around who can take your baby for a second, hold your baby, and you do your thing.
By the way,
so much
sometimes
easier.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
You know that feeling? I know you do.
Yeah.
Can I just take a shower?
That's not just 7 minutes. Can I just take a nice 20-minute shower?
I want a 20-minute hot one.
Exactly.
20-minute fucking hot wing
Can I
interview.
just not scarf this dinner down in 10 minutes? Can I actually just enjoy
it? Does get better. I'm not just saying that. But you're right on the money. It's like you just need to kind of... The gift of it, there's all these like hidden gifts in the brokenness. And when you're humbled and you go, we can't do this alone.
Yeah.
And you have to reach out. Just keep reaching out and keep finding people. Because like I'm thinking about my friend Sam, and he's just like, he texts us and he's like, we're making pancakes tomorrow morning.
Right.
Drop the kids off.
Right.
And just, Leela doesn't really rock that way.
Right.
But she will eat the pancakes with the other kids while we relax.
Nice.
And it's nice.
Yeah.
Little things like that.
Yeah.
So we are we're our own solution.
Right. No, that's nice.
But it is about to get a lot. Once you hit, I know everybody tells you this, I don't want to keep moving the goalpost, but 18 months is when you're like, oh.
Okay.
It's when you'll meet your baby.
Oh.
And you know what else helps? Is those apps that tell you what's going on.
Yeah. No, we have
you
those.
got those. I'm
it's
sure
like,
you
okay,
do.
he's got social cues now. He's
Yes.
smiling.
Yes.
And he's a great kid. Like, he's really
What is
like...
it? Mental leaps? He's going through a mental leap.
He's going to mental leap.
That's when they're freaking out.
Yeah.
You're like, he's getting a download, like a Neo Matrix
literally,
download.
he's like, eyes are shifting and he's getting all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
And then he can kind of walk. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
So weird.
Babies
have Wi-Fi
they
to
do.
God.
Yeah, they do.
Babies
While
have
their
Wi-Fi
skeletons
to God.
are growing so quickly.
And you're just downloading the update, and as the parents, all you do is hit agree. You don't even have time to read it.
You don't read it.
Agree. And then it's got, it'll like a transformer that transforms into a toddler.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. It's
Wow.
a sponge you put water on and it just...
Yeah, those green slimy dinosaurs. Crazy.
So, no, he's a great kid. He's doing great. I'm proud of him. I love him so much. And it's just a joy to experience it. But yes, there is that balance now, that tricky balance now of how will I find the time to write? How will I find the time to do this? That's just the dance we have to do now, right?
Yeah.
So finding out the show was canceled the day I was born was like, oh, my whole life has to reset now to be able to find a new gear to push on, you know?
You know, I don't want to minimize the pain of that, but if you subscribe to a worldview that the universe is like dancing a dance, you experience something. I haven't even heard anything close to that. You know, like I haven't known someone show canceled and happiest day of your life.
Right.
Meaning, if you were an infinite consciousness and you're like, because I'm kind of over here going like, look, it doesn't sound pleasant, but I'm like, what was that like?
Right.
That was the swirliest Arnold Palmer of joy and disappointment.
It was this beautiful dance.
That's
of
exactly
life
what
and death.
Meaning, if you were an alien that couldn't feel, and you were watching, they'd be like, envy. Like, just sort of like, imagine the symphony of conflicting emotions.
Right.
I don't even know how I feel about this because I can't feel.
I don't know how to feel.
And you're like, you were the opposite of dead,
Right.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You were deeply, painfully,
Right.
and joyfully alive. That's
Alive and
that's
present,
all I
like
got, yeah.
super present.
You were right there, man.
Yeah.
You were right there.
And so that's what made it so intense, is that it was such a day where I had to be super present with my wife and my son coming out while hearing this news. And so that's the beauty of the universe. I see it, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm someone who's always got a positive outlook on life. Always just tries to see the best things that have happened in life and see how I can use those moments to move on to the next thing. And that was just such a poetic moment of life and death, just that dance between life and life. Like experiencing birth itself is this beautiful dance as life, of life and death. As a dad, you're just watching your partner, or as a husband, you're watching your partner go through this.
Well,
you're powerless.
She's sort of dying.
Yeah.
That's a type of death, meaning you not a dad was dying.
Right.
Her not a mom was dying.
And at the same
Baby's
time,
being born.
Mom is being born. Dad is being born. Baby's being born.
That's right.
And so,
oh my God.
Yeah.
You'll never have something that just reminds you. I've been saying it a lot, but there's a line in Practice at the Presence of God where they're like, everything is a straw fire. It's just a poetic way of saying everything's impermanent.
Right.
Nothing will make that more evident
No.
than having a kid.
No.
You're done.
Yeah.
I don't mean in a bad way,
No.
but you've changed irrevocably. And then you watch this baby change, change, constantly changing.
Right.
This is why we get so emotional when you'll look at pictures of your baby when he's 3 months old,
Right.
and you'll just be like, like you won't believe it.
Right.
And it's also this reminder of like, whoa, this whole thing's on fire.
Right. No,
That's
it's
wild.
amazing. So how do you do it? How do you balance writing a whole comedy special, for example, while you're raising your beautiful daughter?
The answer is I can't really tell you other than when I did Dirty Clean, my baby was really young. Like I'm bad with time, but I think she was about between 6 months and a year. That's a big differential, but I don't know, around there. But I had that joke about don't shake a baby. And I remember I wrote that in this house on an envelope while I was rocking her. Like I woke up and I was like, what they don't tell you is you're going to want to shake the baby.
Right.
And then, so that was sort of happening, meaning, again, to put a positive spin on it, I even had that joke. I was like, the best part of sleep is falling asleep.
Right.
And now that I have a baby, I do that 22 times a night. So I was looking for the positive.
Right.
Not just to write a joke, but to reframe it for myself.
Yeah.
I was like,
so
this
you
is
remember
great.
what it is. You remember that feeling.
Yeah. And I did like falling asleep all those times. I also fucking was dying. It was horrible. So there was a time when I was going, say what you want about a baby, but it is a huge disruption. And sometimes a disruption can be helpful for creativity. You know, when you fly somewhere, you go to New Zealand to shoot the show. Sometimes you have that first couple days, you're kind of goofy and like a little more elastic in your brain.
Right.
Sometimes you can be like completely buried in sand, but sometimes you're just like, you don't know what's going on.
We're driving on the left side of the road.
Yeah, and you're just upside down in your mind, and it helps.
Yeah.
I sometimes thought that the baby was like that. I can more say now, the longer that you have the baby, the more you just kind of get better at asking for what you need for both of us. That was the lesson. And both Val and I are real sweeties and people pleasies, and we just don't want to inconvenience anybody.
Right.
But at a certain point, you just go, you start really owning the value of, can I please have 2 hours?
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah.
And if you can say without anger or,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean? Because there's
Right.
a like, give me 2 fucking hours. There's that. But it's like, can we find 2 hours?
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised. You're still in nap time? Is he napping?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Enjoy nap time. And by the way, I loved when they stopped napping.
Right.
So don't worry about that.
Okay.
When they stopped napping, I
they like you have
I
them up
preferred
for,
it because then they go to bed at night.
yeah, right.
There's a give and a take with
Right.
everything. Everybody's like, nap time's the best.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Go to bed at 7:30.
Right.
Then you get the rest of your night.
Right.
So I don't really have many tips other than, in a vague way, I know you can do it. That's all I'll say. There is a way.
Thank you.
I know it involves asking for what you need.
Right.
And I know it involves leaning into what's good about a disruption.
Right.
Because your brain is really
Yeah. You have
dookie rookie right
you
now.
work so hard to find the focus, and then when you're like, okay, I have an hour to just focus on one task,
Yeah.
and let me just do this task as best as I can.
Well, just in general, sorry, everybody, I'm going to quote Tony Robbins, but something that Tony Robbins said that really blew me away.
I loved his book. Like,
Really?
this is the first book I read about help in like Mauritania when I was 14.
Fucking A.
Yeah, Tony Robbins.
I mean,
yeah,
proof, pudding.
it's like meet your heroes, visualize meeting your heroes. There we go, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit helps. Shit
Right,
helps.
right.
But he said something that is very simple. It's not like a quote or anything. He just goes like, when you're deciding what to do, let's say you have that 1 hour, don't get sucked into what he calls urgent but not important. And that's like 99% of your asks.
Right.
And I say it all the time. I don't say it out loud. It would be rude.
Right.
But somebody goes like, well, we need to get the windshield wiper fixed on the back of the car. Urgent but not important.
Right.
I don't see us going through Mauritania with
Right.
that sand
No.
and needing the back wiper.
You don't need the back. Shit
It's not happening right now.
No.
It's okay. We'll get that fixed on a weekend.
Right.
I have 1 hour.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at my email.
No.
I'm just going to dial in and create first.
Right.
Now I'm just giving you, this isn't,
Yeah.
I'm not even giving it to you.
No.
I've just taken 45 years to go the cream of the day. I give my mornings to coffee and that's my meditation and study, like reading about God, because that's my best me.
Yeah.
So I give that on the altar. Bam,
Right.
that's the best. Then the next thing after Lila is at school, and you're gonna love that. First thing is create.
Right.
You got to create.
Right.
And then open that devil door of what the fuck people are asking of you.
To-do lists or whatever.
Then you look at it.
Right.
But you give 2 hours
To
to
just
just
be
the
present
creativity.
and create.
Because once you open the door, that's gone for
Yeah.
me.
No, you can't. It's like boom.
And you're tempted.
You're not in the space.
Like,
Yeah.
but what if there's a good email?
Right.
Urgent, not important.
Right.
I can't tell you in my life,
Right.
maybe count on one hand the number of times I've gotten an email that was actually urgent.
Yeah.
They're going to call you.
I'm a
They're-
Nigerian prince. Please.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
that-
trapped in this country.
That was a once in a
Send me-
lifetime. And I don't know if that dude got out, but I gave him like
I don't
30
know.
grand. So he's probably rocking.
Has he sent you his $10 million as
Well,
a
I mean,
reward yet?
30 grand, not a big deal.
No,
I'm not surprised he didn't reply to say thank you because, he's a prince.
30,000, yeah.
That's like giving someone a toothpick to him.
Right.
But,
That's hiring him as your bodyguard for 50 cents a month.
That prince did want me to kiss a lot of Indian boys. So that's my little tip
That's nice.
for what it's worth. What are
Yeah.
you finding? Anything come to mind while I was blabbing and boring?
No, I mean, it's true. I think just choosing to be present with what task you have to do right then and there.
That's the other thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
You just reanimated my brain. Just do what you're doing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the key to getting, not through a baby, like you have to just suffer it,
Right.
but just do what you're doing. Suffering comes from rocking a baby and thinking about what time you have to wake up in the morning.
Right.
What does that have to do with anything?
No.
What are you going to stop rocking the baby
Right.
because you realize you need sleep?
It's like, oh my God.
Oh, I can't be doing this.
No.
You just put
like,
the baby
you
down?
just whatever. Good luck to you, son.
You can't. You know you're going to rock it.
Right.
And also, like, just neurologically, biochemically, whatever you want to say, fancy words for in your body.
Mm-hmm.
You start thinking about your morning, your heart rate goes up, the baby's going to sense
And
that.
then the baby is sensitive to those feelings.
Of course.
To that energy. Yeah.
Just, there's no greater parenting hack. It really doesn't seem, it's a compliment. It doesn't seem like you need this. But if my daughter's having a hard time,
Right.
come right in, like Gary and Bennigan.
Right.
Look them right in the eye, get on their level, and they're telling you
Yeah.
something's off, and
Yeah.
it's probably you.
Yeah.
And you can come back to them.
Right.
And it's crazy how
be like,
energetically that comes.
You don't smell fresh.
You don't, Dad. Dude, you're so close. Leela, I was gonna rock Leela. Val was rocking her, and then she goes, "I want Dada to rock me." And I was rocking her, and then she goes, "I want Mama to rock me." And I'm like, "Why? Because Mama's soft?" I'm trying to think of like a. Dad's so fucking ripped.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "No, your breath stinks."
Oh, wow. All right. Is she Dutch? She's so honest. That's amazing. Excuse me, this doesn't smell very nice.
You don't smell very nice.
Would you like a peppermint?
Oh, you're so close. And you get to father a son, you know, which I just think is such an opportunity, you know, because you really seem like a sensitive, emotionally intelligent, well-rounded man.
Thank you.
And to raise a sensitive, intelligent, well-rounded man is a real gift to the world. So
Right.
And for women too. There's just obviously, I don't know if you've noticed this. Nobody's more gender normative than parents at the playground.
Right. No, I know
Because
exactly.
there's little girls and then there's some boy and he's on fire.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
It's like-
no, we're not saying boys will be boys, but you just can't. Not all boys are the same. I want to be very clear. Not all boys are the same. But if there's someone eating red ants, very good chance that dude's name is Milo. You know what I mean?
And not Sophia.
Yeah.
Right,
And
yeah.
Leela's a wild child, but then we hang out with boys, and I'm like, God
Yeah,
damn.
I know.
Everyone's
warning us.
He did a
Just
crane
get
kick.
ready.
He did a full-on Karate Kid crane kick through a glass window.
Oh my God.
Somehow he's not bleeding.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's fine. All people are different and unique, and everyone should be treated with respect.
Preach.
I have to say that. I have to say. Look, I have to say. I don't even want to
say
say.
it's like
I have to
that's
say
not a
this.
thing.
All people are unique. Like I hate it.
energy.
Everyone should be treated with respect. Blah 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 blah. Like okay, no, I really feel that. What do you make of? You just brought. I'm going to load the question with this. You were laying in bed with your wife.
Right.
Wife.
Yeah. Spouse.
Yeah. Something in your blouse got me feeling so aroused. She's asleep and the baby's in her belly. And one day, bink,
Yeah.
awareness
Right.
clicked on
Right.
in the baby.
Right.
And you were just sleeping.
Yeah.
What do you make of all this? What do you make of being? What do you make of existence? What do you make of being present? What do you make of God? Do you have any model for it?
Well, so my mom's Muslim, my dad's Christian, so I was raised very much aware of both the Quran and the Bible.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't go to church. Like my dad is not a churchgoer, and my mom doesn't really go to mosque, but she prays 5 times a day. Although I have gone to Mecca and Medina and done the whole like pilgrimage kind of stuff just to experience it.
Nice.
But as a kid, I was very much trying to combine both religions. So I'd say the Our Father who art in heaven prayer while bowing down, the Muslim style. Just to combine both.
I don't know why I relate so hard to that. I get it.
Right.
You're like,
Just be like,
I know
I'm
what to
both.
do.
Yeah. I'll just merge both.
Two great tastes that taste great together.
Right. And so I grew up very much with my parents saying, just find your own spirituality. We're not going to force you to
nice.
choose one or the other.
And then your mom was like,
But if you're going to be an actor, I'm kidding. The one promise you have to make.
yes.
So no, but yeah, of course, your parents want you to choose maybe the one that works for them, but they were very open and lenient.
Wow.
And so I, from a very young age, was able to explore different kinds of religions. What's Judaism about? What's Hinduism about? What's Buddhism about? And just reading all these books and things just to learn what are the fundamental aspects of it all. And it just like, it's taken me 40 years, not really. I mean, but it's like after 40 years, I know for sure that it's not about the title of the religion. It's about just like the quality of your imprint that you're going to leave behind on this earth. That's like, what effect have you had on people? Because...
How did you relate?
Yes, because once you... Imagine this, once you pass away, right? And you're
Not
on
me.
the next realm. No, I mean,
Not me.
physically here in
Nah,
this
dude.
realm. Physically.
Prove it.
And you're up there, and they give you a review of your life. But from the point of view of everyone else, and not your point of view. Just so how you, like you, Pete Holmes, are interviewing Samba, you experience this podcast from Samba's point of view.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that's what happens when you're like up there, you get a review. Okay, so we're going to go through your life, but from the point of view of other people.
And I'm just there going, stop interrupting me.
It's Mauritania. So once I gathered that that's what kind of life is about, right? It's about us all being the same, us all being one. and what I do to you affects me because you are me. Then it's like, well, how do I treat other people? I want to treat them, the golden rule was always going to stand the test of time. Treat others as you want yourself to be treated. But we are just reflections of one another. And so my whole life has just been that. That's been my moving forward aspect of it. It's like, if I'm going to be here sitting with you, I want to connect with you because you are me and I am you. And I want this imprint to be a good one. So when I move on to the next world and I'm watching this movie of my life and I'm seeing this interview through Pete's eyes, I'm like, oh, wow, that Samba guy is really cool.
Yeah.
I want that experience and not that, oh, he made me feel this or that or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
He was in the flow.
Right.
Like I would say the flow is that recognition.
Right.
That real-time recognition that changes your behavior.
Right.
And if you're loving someone as yourself because you recognize deep down that they are yourself, relatively speaking, you're you and I'm me, but highest altitude,
Right.
it's all one.
Right.
It's like, it reminds me, so Rupert Spira, my favorite teacher, well, we shouldn't say, I always say that when I say that, I'm like, I'm sorry, other teachers.
What's your favorite? Really?
But okay, I'll
Mr.
say one
Johnson's
of my
going,
favorite.
Pete.
Ram Dass.
Oh.
No, but Rupert Spira, one of my favorite teachers.
Right, there you go.
When he was 7, he said to his mom, I feel like this is all God's dream, and it's our job to make sure it's the most beautiful dream it can be.
Nice.
But that's a very non-dual sort of like, there's nobody in the other boat. Hey, there's a Ram Dass teaching. He goes, life is like you're in a rowboat and it's a foggy day and you run into another boat and you start yelling, like, watch where you're going, damn it. The fog clears and there's nobody in the other boat. I ruined the punchline, but like, you get it. It's not a joke. It's like it's us.
Yeah.
So I've really gotten so much more juice out of being nice by willpower than trying to be converted. The renewal of your mind is what the Bible says is it's a different way of seeing. That changes your behavior, but I used to do it backwards. I used to change my behavior so it would look like I had been converted, and now I work on like firming up my own conversion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that because, I mean, yeah, you try in the beginning because you read all these amazing books, Tony Robbins, all this kind of stuff, and then really it's about the experience and not the thought of it, right? It's like,
Absolutely.
I want to be a good person versus I am being a good person. Those are two very different things.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad that I was raised very young to be of service to people and to have those examples of being of service to people from my parents. And that just continues to be the driving force in my life, whether it's through comedy or through acting or through whatever I do. How does this improve this situation? How does this improve this imprint that I'm going to leave behind?
Yeah. Beautiful dream.
Right.
And when you die, you think we go somewhere else?
I just think it's dimensions, man. You know how you have a CD?
I just think it's dimension.
You have a CD, right? You have a CD-ROM, Steven
Sure.
Spielberg's
Yeah.
director's chair. And each CD has a track, right? Track 1 through 12, whatever it is. Yeah. And it's the same CD, but you're on track 1. And then when you die, you probably go to track 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So it's the same plane of existence, just different tracks. And so I believe that it's just a different realm of experiencing yourself.
Right. I love it. That wasn't like a right. I was like, no, I love it.
What, do you think you go somewhere else? You stay here.
I don't think there's anywhere to go, but I hear that's what you're saying too. When Ramana Maharshi was dying, great Indian saint, they said he had cancer and he was like, heal yourself. Don't go. And he goes, don't be silly. Where could I go? And that's been, that's not only my belief, but that's been my experience through certain death mimicking experiences.
Right.
And but I'll say it every time it comes up because I think it's a beautiful message to share. You don't go anywhere. The illusion is cleared, and you realize you were there the whole time.
Right.
And the way that I would say that in kind of like a fun way is, you and I are already one with God. We're already in heaven.
Right.
And we're just kind of electing to
Not
play
see
this
it.
movie inside of ourselves, or dance this dance inside of ourselves, because our nature, and I'm speaking as awareness is nature, is infinite, abundant, expansive, but it can't know itself. So it plays this game like a dream.
Right.
And this is Rupert Spira. Most of that was Rupert Spira, but Rupert's like, if you have a dream at night where you're on a Caribbean beach, he's like, how do you experience that beach? You have to localize yourself. So your mind is the beach.
Right.
But to experience it, it has to like create a seemingly separate entity to give it a point of experience. And he's like, and I very easily, I've always been a very vivid dreamer. So dream analogies help me a lot.
Right.
And I'm like, I could absolutely see it being like, I'm going to localize as billions of things.
Right.
And there will be more continuity to this dream. You know, this isn't like waving and melting right now.
Right.
So it'll have more continuity than our dreams at night.
Right.
But similar principle.
Right.
But then when you realize you're like, that's where Tony Robbins goes, this is happening for you, not to you. Mm-hmm. You can go like, oh, that's literal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? That's not just like a nice thing to think. And it includes all of it.
Right.
The light and the dark. It's just all of it.
Yeah.
It's your dream.
Right.
Ultimately, it's your dream.
Right.
Not Samba's dream.
Right.
Not Pete's dream. But and then when you go down this rabbit hole far enough, you end up saying some pretty basic things like trust God.
Yeah. Trust life. Trust
life. Trust the universe.
Yeah.
If you want to get the sticky word out of there. I like to say I trust myself. Because I don't mean Pete. I mean the fucking Richard Rohr says it. I'm listening to a lot of Richard again. He's like, God isn't a being, God is being.
Right.
And I was like, and you are being. And I'm not saying I'm having the experience of being God, but like what God is the ground of my being and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, that's true. And trust life was the quote that got me to America, because I was in Holland. Like I said, I was doing really well. And then I was like, okay, I think it's time to go to America. And so I was taking some time off. I took 10 days off. I went to Portugal, this remote village.
Portuguese.
Delicious. But very delicious food, delicious people. And I was wandering around.
Funniest waiter in Portugal. Delicious food, delicious people.
Why do you have an Indian accent? I don't know. It's Portugal.
Don't ask too many questions.
I'm sorry. Don't ask questions. Roll with it. Roll with it. And I'm wandering this terrain. It's barren, and there's an olive tree, this old ass olive tree. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to that tree because that tree has wisdom. And I sit down underneath the tree, and I sit here. I'm like, thank you for your wisdom and your age. I have a question to ask. And I'm just like imagining the tree speaking to me, and I'm hearing a voice, right, in my head, my eyes closed. What do you want to know? I was like, okay, I want to move to America, but I'm doing so well in Holland, and I know I have to give everything up and start from zero when I move to America, because no one will care about my Dutch credits in America, and they didn't.
Yeah. The tree goes, have you considered more olives?
Get into the olive oil business.
Pimentos are a nice way to jazz me up. Can I get some non-olive advice? All right.
Fine.
Blue cheese? I said non. All right.
All right.
Olive non? Not the bread.
The bread.
Keep going.
And so I was like, okay, how do I know I'm going to be okay? And it was like, okay, you know how a blade of grass grows underneath the earth. It starts as a seed. It starts underneath the earth, and it's trying to get to the sunlight. It's trying to get to the light. But a blade of grass encounters all these obstacles, whether it's an earthworm or a rock or whatever, and it doesn't give up. It knows what it's destined to do, and it finds a way to grow around the rock. It finds a way to grow around the obstacles, and finally it shoots out of the earth, and it's there in the sunlight as a blade of grass. It always knows what it's going to do. It always knows what it's going to become. And that's the same of you. Like nothing as an obstacle will stop you from becoming what you're destined to become already. So just trust life that you will be caught by the universe when you take a leap of faith. You will not be dropped if you follow what feels right for you, what feels destined for you. And I was like, thank you, Olive Tree.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and I walked away, and someone was watching me talking to the tree, and just like, are you okay? I know, he's there.
Put that kid in pictures.
That kid.
What did he say?
He's like, finally, we meet.
No, what did the
not
real
Steven
guy
Spielberg.
say?
It was like an imaginary
real
Steven
guy say?
Spielberg. Nothing. He just staring at me like I was a weirdo.
Yeah.
Talking to an old tree.
Well, I'd rather be a tree talker than a people gawker.
Was the wisdom that got me out here.
Yeah.
And that was a good rhyme. Good job.
You know, it's funny. So again, Rupert Spira, who is such an incredible non-dual teacher, when you ask him what should we do, he says, do what you love, which I think is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're part of this.
Yeah.
So like, do what you love just sounds like something you'd see at like a fucking world market on a magnet.
No, but
it's like something's written on you Like that blade of grass has something written on it.
Right.
Like your son has the God Wi-Fi.
Right.
Your dreams, your ambition, your contribution, all that
Right.
stuff is written. Follow. That would all do so well if
Yeah.
we would follow.
Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors where there are only walls.
Yeah.
And that's true. And
Who's
that's
that? I'm just
Joseph.
Who is that?
Who? Joseph Campbell Soup.
Yosef.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much.
Right.
Well, this was great. Let's get the fuck out of here. I'm just kidding. Can you tell me the time in your life you laughed harder than you've ever laughed? Can you think of a time where you laughed till you cried?
Oh my God.
I'll give you some prompts because
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a good story.
Okay.
Someone fell. Someone farted. It was in church. It was in a library. You were a child. It was a movie. You got hurt.
Right.
But somewhere you were there, and you don't have to make us laugh. But if you had tears streaming down your face,
Right.
where were you? Who was making you laugh? What happened is a bonus.
There's so many moments where, and the first one that comes to mind is I was on a plane, sitting watching a movie with headphones, and it was a long plane ride, and the movie was Waterboy by Adam Sandler, and I was a young little kid watching it, and I remember laughing and cackling so hard and crying that people would shake me to be like, "Shh, you're disturbing the other passengers."
Wow.
That's the first memory that comes to mind.
Waking up a plane nap funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Right.
What a gift.
Waterboy.
Because that was fast, 2 bonus.
Mm.
You seem like a guy who hasn't seen a ghost. You ever see a ghost?
Yeah. Why do I seem like the kind of guy who hasn't seen a ghost?
I always like to guess.
All right.
Some people really feel like they've seen a ghost.
Pete, the first side job I found when I found out I couldn't be an actor here in Hollywood because of this O1 visa was down the street here on Hillhurst Avenue. There's a psychic shop called Liberate Emporium. I worked there as a palm reader because I read palms, and I'd make $50 for 15 minutes of reading someone's palm because I've, thank God, I don't know, developed some kind of intuitive ability. So yes, I have seen a ghost once in a while, but not like
While you were reading palms?
No, but you know,
But you're in that groove.
you see like a shadow, or you see something while you're connecting. It's I didn't like reading palms. I didn't like it because it didn't feel right giving people advice. You know, had them paying you to give them life advice. But that was my first side job there, and yes, I don't do it anymore. I literally just worked for 3 months, and so no, I don't read palms anymore. Your grandma says hello. She's been in the corner this whole time. She was watching you.
I knew it.
She's smelling you. Did you wear the same T-shirt? What is going on, Pete?
You don't even like high fives. That's trauma
I can't
for you.
even look at it. No. We shake hands like this.
So you read palms?
Yeah, I know.
But you felt, well, you tell me, did you feel like you were like, I'm doing something real, or was it a little show busy?
To the people, it was real.
Yeah.
And apparently the things I was saying made sense to them.
Oh, wow.
So that made me believe that I knew what I was doing.
So no strikeouts?
No.
Wow.
Every time, satisfied customer. So, yes.
Read your palm!
I know.
Jeff Garland comes in. Read your palm!
What do you want to read my palm for? That was my bad Larry David. That was a bad Larry David.
I have this thing called Dupuytren's contracture on my right hand.
What's that?
It's just like this tendon got swole.
Oh.
And then they have to, it's gross, but they like
Right.
break it. Mm-hmm. If you saw someone with I guess you'd call that a deformity. Would you be like,
I can't
this
see your
is
lines.
bad.
I mean, like, oh. And my favorite thing to do is scare people when they go, can you? And then I look at it and go like, do you like bananas? I would stay away from bananas. And then just leave him, just walk away. And just like they never mess with a banana in their life again.
But if they had a cut or something
Right.
on their hand, did that get into the reading?
No, because, okay, how it works is you have 2 palms, right? Most people. And one is your blueprint of life, and one is what's going on right now in your life.
Which one's the going on?
Left is blueprint that you're born with, and right is what's going on right now. And this changes. This changes. The lines on this hand change. It's weird, but they change based on your decisions in life. So if you have a scar on that hand and I'm not able to read it,
I
will look at your other hand and be like, the blueprint was this, but what's going on might be different because I don't know what's going on exactly here. But that line is where your marriage line is.
This one?
Yes. And that's the relationship line.
I was divorced. This is how people... I was divorced.
I was divorced.
And you go...
I was like, I know. Dude, is there a W in your life? A W. I'm like one of those cheap mediums. A W. I feel a W coming in.
People be teasing Jonathan Edwards. You ever watch him?
Yeah.
Dude... Look,
I don't know.
I'm watching, and
is
I'm
it
like...
an artist? Is it someone who's talented? It's like, I don't know.
Whatever it is, that dude gets a visa.
Right.
That's an extraordinary person.
ability, yeah.
Because I'm like...
Yeah.
I've watched enough of those videos where it seems like he's just going like something with a blue. He's not. He's going like, who here has a guy with one arm from Wyoming? And someone's like, Jeb! It's fucking crazy.
Right. No,
then I can feel the skeptics being like, they're spying on them. I don't know.
I don't know, but I believe that we all have the gift.
Well, a non-dual understanding says there's only one of us, and minds are just the activity of awareness. So there's no reason why awareness couldn't look into another awareness if it knew how.
Right.
Because there is no separation.
There's no separation. The records are out there if you need to access them.
It's like those dudes that Bob Lazar, is it?
Right.
I don't think it's Bob Lazar, actually. But that they call UFOs
Right.
with non-dual understanding. They're just like, well, if my consciousness is the same as an alien's consciousness, I can think my coordinates and it'll come to me.
Stephen Greer.
Is that who it is?
I think it is. He attracts them to...
And it works.
And it works. And suddenly they see a UFO, which I've seen too in my life as well. So
Tell me what the better one.
The better one was I was in college and I was on the balcony. It was a lonely night, I don't know, just by myself, midnight. I'm staring at the sky. Okay. I was not drunk. I was not high. Let me start the story this way.
Hey, baby.
No, I was not drunk. I was not high. Sober as.
I want to believe.
I'm watching the stars. I see this formation of 7 stars in a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Ding, ding. A triangle. I'm like, oh, that's a fascinating constellation. That's beautiful. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, it makes a perfect triangle. What's going on here? Suddenly, the triangle starts to move. And I'm like, am I dizzy? Am I actually seeing this? The triangle is moving. The triangle's moving. And the triangle's moving. I'm like, that thing it's moving. Those stars are moving in unison. Those stars are moving in unison. And suddenly it goes shoo, whoo, and disappears.
They're always leaving.
They don't want to be watched. They don't want to be watched. They're like, this voyeur society? I hate humans. Why? Why can't I just be? Why do you always have to look at me?
Can't I just hover?
Can't I just be? Yeah.
Who has the technology to be a slice of pizza that can fly impossibly but doesn't have cloaking ability?
Right.
Or... there's just an alien that just leaned on the button.
God damn it.
Now we got to find a new place to sleep. It's like a Winnebago looking for a KOA.
It is. Just
and they're like, we found a nice little space.
Yeah. We're going to look like stars. No one's going to assume anything. Like,
that guy on the balcony see us?
God damn it. On to the next college. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like my weird one.
Did you freak out?
Yes. Yeah. I was like, and I had to check that I was not dreaming. I was not asleep. I was like, I actually saw this thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we're not alone, Pete. We're not alone.
We're not alone.
There's so many dimensions out there.
One CD.
One CD.
A lot of tracks.
Mm-hmm. We are the world.
Ethiopia callback. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Your true talent.
Thank you, brother.
All of us have some of you, but your talent.
yeah. I'm gonna.
We all get a little bit.
You're gonna be doing my jokes on the next show we see you performing.
When you're half black as Trump. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Anything
having me.
to plug?
I'm glad this made it.
We finally
Nothing
made
to
it
plug. Just a few cartoons I'm a part of that are coming out that I can't talk about, which is the worst feeling.
Well,
ever.
just let me know if it becomes announceable soon.
Right.
And then if it's whatever.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, man. Would you say keep it? Oh, you get Modern Mammals.
What's that?
You got great hair.
Thank you. What's this?
It's legit. They're a sponsor, but I don't know if they're sponsoring this episode, but everybody gets some. Modern Mammals is my favorite shampoo.
Oh.
I used it last night. Does it?
Your hair looks amazing.
And it doesn't look like I washed it, right?
No.
This is real.
No.
It's real.
Wow.
I became a fan first, then they sponsored the show, but you get
amazing.
some.
Thank you. Thank you
Modern
so
Mammals.
much. Yeah.
And would you say keep it crispy? Oh, wait, Katie, I remembered. We want more people to rank the show. Go on iTunes.com and leave a review. Here, you can read it. Do you want to read it?
Which part?
Any one of these four.
A review?
But you have to read their name.
Incredible content. Well, I'll do it
Oh,
with this
nice.
camera. Every time I listen to this podcast, I find myself being inspired, laughing, or reflecting on my own life. I so appreciate this content and look forward to new episodes. Thanks, Pete.
5 stars. What was their name?
Incredible content.
Oh, they didn't leave a name?
No.
What the F? No, there it is. Jasmine. Oh, no, Jammin 416.
Oh, that's the
See,
name.
I want to incentivize them
sorry.
to.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
All right.
You can't apologize for reading. Thank you for reading that.
I tried.
And thank you, Jammin 416. Please leave us a review. The show's been out for 11 years or something. And we're just trying to grow. We haven't ever made an effort to grow, but this is one of my favorite things that I do with my life.
It's lovely.
I love these conversations.
It's beautiful.
So share it. Maybe don't leave, if you don't want to rate or leave a nice review, maybe just text it to a friend. Share it to somebody. Say, hey, you're half
Mauritanian, Ethiopian, Dune 2 future past.
Dune, just text it to someone and write Dune future and nothing else. Would you say keep it crispy, Samba? It's how we end.
Keep it crispy. Or should I say it to the camera?
No, you did it perfectly.
Okay.
But do you want to say it as your character on our flag?
Keep it crispy.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, brother.
That was awesome.